Hey, what's up? I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and welcome to From the Hat, where we are talking by choice, chosen by random. And today, I have brought back the amazing Mary Truths.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back, Mary. Thank you. She said she'd done her research on the FDR argument we had in the last episode, but we're not going to talk about that today. Today, we are going to pick from the hat. Are you ready to pick from the hat? Are you ready? All right, you tell me when.
Keep going. Keep going. All right, go.
All right. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. How do you say that in Espanol?
12.
12. 12. Let's do it. And on the screen, 12. Boom. Love as a construct. Oh, this should be interesting. Love is often seen as a universal emotion, but its expression and meaning can vary widely across different relationships and cultures. Understanding love as a construct helps us navigate its complexities and contradictions. What's the difference between love for a partner, friend, families, friends, or otherwise? As always, we give it right to the guests. First, what are your thoughts on love as a construct?
It can be, depending on who you love. I don't think it's a construct universally. I think it's a construct depending on who you're loving. It can be like art of, I don't know, like the love I have for my mom is definitely not a construct, but the love I have for a friend is.
All right. Okay. So it is a universal construct because we all have an opinion on it.
I was like, what are you doing?
What you just said, where you said everybody looks at it differently, that makes it a universal construct.
Okay.
So we all look at love as a thing, and
Yes.
we have a definition for it. So a construct is a theoretical concept, idea, a theme that is based on empirical observations, right? So the way we observe things and how we feel about things makes it a construct. But the discussion is love as you said exactly what the question was. You're like, oh, I think everybody looks at it differently. You know, the way I love my parents is going to be different than I love. But with that situation, can you love more than one parent?
Yes.
Can you love more than one sibling?
Yes.
Is that wrong?
No.
Is it inappropriate?
No.
Is it disrespectful to the love you have for the people involved?
No.
Oh, excellent. Can you have love for more than one friend?
Yes. I see where you're going with this, but yes.
All right. Can you have love for more than one person in a way that you want to be deeply intimate with, not necessarily on a physical level, but on an emotional and spiritual level?
Oh, you mean sexually, or
No, because I didn't say physically. I said intimately, as in like on a spiritual and emotional level.
Yes.
Now, why do people get jealous at that one and not at the friends one, the family one, or the sibling one? Go. Floor is yours. This is the construct we're talking about.
Okay, so you say that people get jealous when you have an intimate but emotional connection with somebody?
Well, for example, let's say hypothetically you were in a relationship with somebody, but then you were falling romantically in love with me, which is, it has nothing to do with physical. A romantical love is you want to experience them emotionally and spiritually, and there's just something about them that moves you, you know? And people believe that is wrong, and they become jealous over those things. But why? If it is not only a construct, but we're allowed to love more than one parent, and it doesn't devalue the love we have for the others. We're allowed to love siblings and our children and our friends, and we can love lots of them. But our love for anyone doesn't devalue any of those loves, except for when it becomes romantic.
because it's not the same love. Like it's a love for my dad is very
Nonchalant.
immature. It's not the same love as I have for my partner Lazaro. It's totally different. Like the love you have for an intimate partner sexually
Well,
is
we're
going to
not
be
talking about
with,
sexually,
I know, but when you think about intimacy emotionally, usually people are sexually,
but it's intimacy
together.
through emotion and spiritual. So it has nothing to do with physical. Because you could fall in love with someone across the equator. Like you and I, we aren't in the same state, but you and I could technically fall in love with each other in a
True.
romantic way because we connect spiritually and intellectually and all these other things. And you're like, wow, I just really love this person. They move when I see them, I glow. But that has nothing to do with being physical with somebody. And
But you
yet,
would want to, wouldn't you? If you're already getting that involved, you're gonna want to physically be
well, I'm
involved.
polyamorous, so I anyone that I have a connection to, I want to be physically intimate with also, but only if they want to. Because to me, it's not sexual. It's just it's the closest way to experience euphoria with somebody, and to just lay in the arms of somebody is just a magical and profound experience in my mind. But that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a lustful desire. Not that what I was saying was lustful, but I'm not just talking about like, oh, I'm romantic with them, so I want to have the sex with them. I'm talking like it's just everything about this person makes me glow when I think of them, when I see them, when I talk to them. It makes me feel like I could do anything. And it's like, well, why can't you have that with more than one person?
Because it always goes back to physical. It's never going to stay in the metaphysical. You're talking only solely metaphysical, which is great, but like reality is we are human, and if you're going to get metaphysically deep with somebody, you're going to bound to get physical too.
Well, again, let's use us as an example. We can't be physical.
Right. We can't.
We can't. I mean, we could, but we can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to come visit me and I'm not going to come visit you. It's far away,
But some people, but if you really want, if you're really like that if you're that already involved intimately, emotionally with that person, you're gonna find the way to get physical eventually.
So what you're saying is those feelings automatically mean cheating and sex.
No, those feelings can evolve to then having sex if you
All right.
allow it to.
Well, now with that as a position, the counter argument is, well, what are the parameters of the relationship you have chose to be in? For example, if it's monogamous, who are you as an individual, knowing that romantic feelings are not breaking the bond of sexual experiences? And if you're willing to break that sexual experience, as the saying goes, always go with the second person, because if you could love them and be with them and not the first, you don't really want to be with the first person. But if you respect the boundaries of the parameters of a relationship, the feelings are not cheating. They have nothing to do with anything, because love for one thing is not a diminish of love for another.
I mean, that only works if you are polyamorous. That only
No.
works if you're polyamorous.
Now you're talking about physical again, because if I'm polyamorous, I can be physical with more than one person because the parameters have been defined. I'm talking about being monogamous and completely unhappy. No, I'm just kidding. It's not everyone's unhappy, but they're. So being in a monogamous relationship, I'm obviously making a joke. Being in a monogamous relationship with somebody and having the parameter that, hey, we will not go physically outside the lines. To break that promise is where I think it becomes inappropriate. But to say that you're not allowed to experience love for someone else that is deeply defining to the soul is,
It's
in
not
my
about
opinion, limiting.
allowing. It's not
It is
about
about
allowing.
allowing.
Because you choose that. It's not the other person that chooses it. Like Lazarus does not tell me, like when we decided to be together, he didn't create this boundary of like you can't have sex with other people. It's just
Yes.
unsettled, unstated, verbally
Silent contract.
Yeah, like it really is like but you choose it, you know, like the other person isn't doing it for you. Like you're deciding to sign this contract and say it's only going to be you, me, or you know, it's a me and you thing. Nobody else is involved.
I disagree with that statement because that lacks communication. It's the assumption that my version of monogamous is exactly the same as your version of monogamous.
I mean, but you are supposed to communicate in a monogamous relationship. Most
Yes,
people
so,
don't. That's why it doesn't work, unfortunately.
yeah, but didn't you have a conversation with Laz at one point going, hey, I know we haven't said it, but are you going to keep your thing in your pants? I'm going to keep my thing in my pants. Or do you go, well, I know he'll never do that because that's how a relationship is meant to be. And it's like, but it's not.
No. You definitely have to talk about it. You definitely have to talk about it. Like some people don't talk about it at all. And gee, I wonder why you guys end up breaking up, you know, but you definitely should talk about it because at the end of the day, we are human. Like, you know, it's just that's probably I mean, this is totally off topic, but off the hat. But that's probably why the divorce rates are so high. That's why marriage is so low. It's because there's lack of communication. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with monogamy and marriage. I mean, it is traditional, which a lot of people for some reason don't like anymore, but that's
the modern tradition.
That's how we came to be, though. That's how we're here. No. You know?
That is not how we came to be.
People creating each other, people having sex with each other and creating babies.
Before marriage was a thing, no one was having sex?
Well, yeah.
Or having babies?
When did marriage become a thing? Oh, let's look into that.
First of all, marriage was a thing of connecting communities for resources and land. It had nothing to do with love. All marriages, as a marriage, the ring wasn't even a thing. Tiffany's, or every kiss begins with K.
Right? Yeah.
Watch. Who invented the engagement ring?
Freaking genius is who did that.
Right. So 1477 was in Austria commissioned the first diamond engagement ring on record for his betrothed. So it wasn't even a thing. Engagements weren't even a thing. And that wasn't even common. So when did engagement rings become commonplace? Right? And this is crazy. So the engagement ring, 1930s, right? So it didn't become a common thing until the mid 1900s, which became a tradition, giving engagement rings to the elite societies, not even you or me or somebody that's not elite. However, diamonds were too rare and expensive for most people to afford until the discovery of the horrible blood diamonds in South Africa, the mines in the 1970s. So by 1940, diamond engagement rings were one of the most popular pieces of jewelry. But here, did K jewelry make engagement rings popular? Yeah, so there's who made rings popular? Diamond Cartel De Beers. So in 1938, the Diamond Cartel De Beers began marketing campaigns that would have a major impact on engagement rings. So the concept of engagement rings aren't even a thing. They're a common modern thing that was developed and manipulated into society to sell blood diamond rings.
I mean, you can get engaged without getting a ring.
But
that's just a symbol.
But marriage, before there was marriage, it was just tribes and groups of people. Before the so we're Homo erectus. So before the Homo erectus, people had marriages, but they weren't marriages that we look at. They just go, oh, your tribe or you people are fishermen and we're hunters. So why don't we work together? Oh, you're really good at gathering or making fires. Like it was a survival thing. Like, hey, let's collect together.
I mean, it's still a survival thing now, technically speaking. You're better off being married when it comes to taxes than being single.
Marriage now is
they get tax credits. That's helpful.
It's a construct of manipulation because it's her big day.
It is her
right?
big day. Yeah,
No,
it
it
is.
isn't. It should be our big day.
I know, but it's not.
But
It's
it's
her
not
big
because
day.
it has been manipulated to be her big day. She's been waiting for this day her whole life. You're just the guy who gives the ring. You don't even get a ring until the wedding, and then they just put a band on you. That's very plain and boring, right? But also go to a wedding. How often do you see a unique wedding? And I'm not saying, well, they had different foods and no,
I've
the
never been to a
ceremony.
wedding.
Mhm.
I've never been to a wedding.
The process is almost identical.
Okay.
It is not.
I mean, it's a ritual.
It no, it is a ritual,
It's a
but
ritual.
it's not a personal ritual.
No, it's not.
I had a guy friend who's not a friend anymore, but he
Okay.
had his big contribution to the wedding was they got to have tater tots. He got to add tater tots because he liked tater tots. He wasn't allowed to give any input on the wedding because it was her day.
That's terrible.
It's not terrible because that's how the culture has been manipulated, right? So, but
Terrible.
the ring
It's
thing
supposed to be like
is the manipulation. So marriage is not. No,
I mean, it depends on you. It's however you want to like celebrate. It is your wedding at the end of the day. It's just people are programmed to celebrate it all the same way because they're a bunch of freaking NPC drones. But when I get married, if I get that opportunity, it's definitely not going to be me making all the decisions because that's very overwhelming. It's going to be me, Laz, and probably my sister too because she's very articulate with stuff like that.
listen.
I just care about the dress. That's all I care
If
about.
people want to get married, get married. But the point is, marriage as an idea isn't our own choice. We have been programmed for the idea of marriage. It starts at a very young age, even for women when they get dolls. They have Ken and they have Barbie, and they have to get together and they date, and then they have the marriage. Wow, Miami is on fire.
Miami,
Thunder and lightning.
bro. Don't come here in the summer. It's not the vibe. It's very rainy. At least in
If I
August.
come there, though, we might become intimately physical, and we can't have that. We can, and when we start feeling like we actually are connecting, we have to go stop. We gotta take a break. This is inappropriate to actually care about another human being that is not the designated only person I'm allowed to have feelings for. Right? I am. I'm gonna break. Help me.
Oh, that was funny.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, as a construct, you have created a construct with your position on that. Like, well, you know, it's monogamous and you shouldn't really, because it could become physical, right? Those are all construct ideas. So it's just always been interesting to me that people can have multiple loves in their lives as far as friends, family, siblings, whatever. And they know in their heart, my love for my best friend and my love for this other person doesn't devalue the other person. They are, in your words, and I agree, different loves, different forms of love. They are, I have a love for this person for very specific reasons, and I have a love for this person for reasons. So it's interesting that when it becomes romantically heightened, in a sense where you just, this person just moves you, that becomes inappropriate. I'm not talking about sex. I understand that. If you have the parameter in your relationship where you are going to be faithful physically, I don't believe there should be a parameter to be faithful emotionally, because if you control that, you are denying yourself something beautiful. You are denying yourself true growth. I'm not saying cheat on your person to be physical. Physical can just, that you could throw that away. You know, like sex can be meaningless. It could just be like, well, I had to get that out of my system. But that true, like, that passion, that like they make me think, and I want to do things. I feel my potential just hearing them. They inspire me. And to be like, well, now that I'm starting to feel that, I have to cut off all contact to them until it fades away, and then go back to them and be like, yo, bro, right? Like, why is that? Why is that construct such why has that been created? Because no one owns anybody, and it's like a destructive form of abuse, in my opinion, to be like, you like that person more? Oh, that means you don't love me. And it's like, whoa, I'm not allowed to have kids now? Because if I have a kid, you'll be upset? Because I will definitely love my children more than I love you. because the child is literally a part of me. You're someone I had sex with. You know, like that's what it comes down to. There's a fire. I will catch you later. I'm going to do the kid first. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean I love that person. It just means I love them differently. Of course, I would save my dog before everybody, but that's besides the point. Not that I have my dog anymore. But beep, beep, boop, boop.
I mean, you could get another dog.
No, I can't. I physically I cannot. I can't walk the dog. I can't get up. I can't. Health wise, I'm doing great. Anyway, what are your thoughts on what I just said? My position. Did I influence a thought? Did I?
It's definitely like I understand what you mean. It's just it's individual. Like it just depends on how open-minded emotionally people are, and most people aren't. You know?
Are you that emotionally open? Are you like, I can see that? Or are you like, no, man, I would literally just be like, drop a rock on my foot. How dare I feel anything?
No, I'm definitely, yeah. I mean, I know what it feels like because I had a friend that I was extremely like, whoa, like you are amazing. Like, what? And the only reason why we stopped being friends was because, you know, he did something wrong, at least that I believe was wrong. So I just cut ties with him.
Like, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, no, you know, you're amazing, but you did something you shouldn't have done. So funny. But if it wasn't for that, yeah.
Now, do you avoid talking to me often because you know that you would get
no, I'm just really bad at getting back to people on Instagram.
Right.
I literally go in, I post, and I get out.
You get it in and out. Oh, now you sound like my ex.
I mean, yeah, bro, I'm in and out, bro.
It's still possible. It's still possible. It's just you're not putting in the time. I get it. But you're also what? You're 5'1"?
I'm 5 flat.
5 flat. I knew it. See, I'm 5'9", so it'd be like you were dating a giant. I don't know if you'd be comfortable with that. You'd be like, hey, wow, you got a nice belly button.
That's a really nice mic.
Thank you. His name is Paul.
You would name your mic. Yeah.
If I ever get another dog, I want to get the biggest dog I can, like an Akita or something like that, and call it Chris.
Chris.
I just want to see a big dog and be like, "Hey, Chris, get over here!" And just a visual of that. Yeah. Well, what's your dog's name, Chris?
I mean, my dog's name is Ash, and he's not even gray.
What about Thomas? Oh no, that's the cat. Is the cat?
That's the cat. Tom. Yeah, that's the
Tom.
Cat. Yeah,
now,
but
obviously you named the cat after me, so you could feel like you're close to me petting the cat.
Did I know you when I met my cat?
No.
I was like,
that'd be funny though.
I literally questioned that. I was like, did I name him after you?
I was wrong about FDR. Maybe I'm wrong about the.
Oh, that was great. That was good.
When I opened up my theater, it was called the Rose Theater, and I had I have a friend still. Her name is also Rose, and I've known her since she was like basically 12, 13, whatever, because she was the best friend of my best friend's sister was best friends with Rose. So obviously, yeah. So you would see them, you know. And anyway, when she got older or whatever, I opened up my theater, and she was like, "Did you name it after me?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And she's like, "No, you didn't." I was like, "No, I named it after the Rose Theater and Shakespeare, you know, Bill Shakespeare's time, you know." So
that's awesome. You opened up a theater.
Yeah, it was nice. I met a lot of great people there. I also met a lot of people that I would consider myself having zero constructed love for. And that theater saw a lot of things. I'll tell you, it saw plays, music. I had a writing class. I had like 50 people in it. It's great.
That's cool.
Good time. And it was free. I gave free writing classes on Wednesdays because I like to inspire people. That was the people like, how do you make money at your theater? Everything is like super low and affordable. I go, because I make money with my entertainment career and also BBR Productions. Like I do stuff with that. And I go, this was always, I wanted a place, a community for people to come and be like, I want to try something. All right, well, you know, you could rent the theater for $300 for the night. And it was 100 seats and it was, 30-foot by 15-foot stage. It had full lighting. I had the largest lighting setup on Long Island. So it was pretty crazy, and then whatever closed down, and then I moved to Brooklyn, and everything else is history. And COVID happened. And now I'm here. It's terrible.
Brooklyn, like New York?
Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, well, there are other Brooklyns, just like there is a New York, Rome, New York, I should say. Yeah, Brooklyn. Favorite place that I ever lived was Brooklyn.
There's a Rome in Georgia.
Yeah, but no one roams there. People, all right.
You're such a dork.
I am. Oh, don't get feelings from me. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Stop.
Stop. You're gonna I have to drop rocks on my feet now. Stop loving somebody. He made me feel happy.
There's so many people that just don't vibe with that mentality. No,
it's weird to me.
Just no.
It's so that's why I know this. With the balls in the hat.
I know this throuple that it's really a couple that are open-minded.
Unicorn. They have a unicorn.
What?
It's called a unicorn. When there's a lover and a couple. So there's a couple and then there's a lover.
Oh, okay. So throuple's not a thing. Okay, so it's called.
Throuple is a thing. That's when you are equally in the relationship together.
Okay, no, so they're not that. They're a unicorn. Yeah. It's a couple who always has like every year or two they have like a new person.
That's disgusting. What's the number?
I don't know.
Are they Cuban?
No, the girl is really pretty. She's from not Thailand. Uganda? Oh, she's brown, and then
I like my browns.
And she's really pretty. I thought she was Indian, but she's not Indian. And the guy is black.
Oh yeah, nice. I don't mind. Doesn't bother me.
But they always have a girl, like an extra girl. They don't have like
makes sense.
An extra guy. It's always an extra.
Well, women are beautiful. Guys are just these like chunky, pointy. Get that out of my eye. Like, there's nothing attractively elegant about a guy. They're just these stumps of like things, and then a girl is just like poetry through the movement of some sort of artistic expression that a divine being was just like, what could I make that's perfect?
That's probably why marriage is for women, because they're beautiful and whatever.
Funny though, statistically speaking, lesbians actually get divorced more than regular marriages. I shouldn't say regular marriages. I should say hetero marriages, and also they get divorced more than gay men marriages.
They get the what more?
Divorced.
Oh, bro, the New York accent comes out a little bit there, and I was like, "What?"
Sorry,
you're good.
I was drinking my water. I had some coffee. I was out on Long Island.
How long were you? Yeah, okay. Well, you were in Long Island, then Brooklyn, so.
Well, I'm a New Yorker, but I have lived many a years in Florida, but I didn't lose my accent because I was like, I have to get out of here. This is Florida. There's nothing about Florida that makes me go, I want to visit. And I'm not trying to knock Florida for.
Besides me, of course, but
I would visit you in a heartbeat. But I'm not allowed to anymore because I know that I don't want you.
What do you mean anymore? You never did. What do you mean?
I always wanted to visit you, but if I knew you were going to throw a rock on your foot.
Listen, it's all right. Well, I got to go up there. I want to have a reason. I told Laz, I want to go to New York, man.
I have a third bedroom we could share. You can use.
I can't.
It's a guest room. It just but the bed is a massage table because it's my special room. Look, I had to learn how to be a masseuse. It was part of my growing up, so I might as well use it. Anyway, so love as a construct. Just kind of get it out of there, right?
Yes.
How do you personally look at love as a construct on those different variations of relationships, and not necessarily how do you feel it should be? Like if in your perfect world, your perfect scenario, how would you look at love for those different elements, from a partner to family, friends, and others?
So I see love as maturity or levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the most immature level would, obviously be like 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then the most mature level would be 10, 9.
Ooh, 10, 9.
So like a lot of, I see it as a spectrum, I guess you can say. Love is a spectrum. It just depends on who we're talking about. And that, that's what the spectrum kind of goes by. Like, for example, the love I have for you, I would definitely put it on the other side of the scale versus the
10.
low side,
Nice.
or like for some, my family, I would definitely put it same thing, other side of the scale.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just depends on how you see people.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of see them in, all right, you're my mom, so I have to love you this way. You're my dad, I have to love you this way. I can be more intimate with my mom because she's my mom, but I can't be with my dad. Like, there's people that think like that. Like, I'm very intimate, period, when it comes to my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a friend I've known him my whole life, and he's very like, don't touch me. I love you, but don't touch me.
Well, what's the saying? You could love me just because I love you doesn't mean I have to like you.
Yeah. That was the love I had with my sister for a long time. So yeah.
Nice. Is she single? How's it going?
I don't know. She's definitely engaged and with a child.
Oh,
But
that's
I love her,
literally
I
my
like her.
type.
Oh, and there you go.
Not
Yeah,
the child part, but the when they're engaged or in a relationship, I'm in. And married, that's my favorite.
She's I definitely like her and love her now compared to back then. But yeah.
But you've
She
grown.
went from being at the low level to the high level. And she's my sister, so
She stopped being a socialist, democratic socialist.
no,
Yeah,
she's
no, I can
actually a
understand.
hardcore Republican. Yeah.
My whole family, except for the ones that went to school, are Republicans. And then my grandmother on my father's side, way back in the day, before we were even conceived as ideas, she was the head of the Republican Party in New York. She ran all the.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. My dad was a hardcore Republican. My mom was a hardcore Republican. But
wow.
A Republican back in the 40s, I would even say
different.
the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s are not the Republicans of today. Just like the Democrats of then are definitely not the Democrats of today. I would almost feel a lot of the ideology switched. But Republicans have always had a foundation in business, and Democrats have always had a foundation in people. But the way they approach those have definitely changed. I am neither, because I don't actually believe in government or country.
So wait, you don't believe in government, so you're like what, like anarchist?
I'm not for the fall of government, but I don't believe
anti-federalist.
No, I feel borders and like countries don't make sense to, like, I understand how they are and why they are and what makes them, but on a deeper level, on my sitting in the center of the universe, thinking beyond the planet of Earth, and realizing taxes are one of the weirdest things that of all species on Earth, like, we pay. Like, who's really smart, But at the same time, it's like, when I'm thinking, I just don't grasp the concept of country, because aren't we all the same? Like, shouldn't I truly believe we should all be working together and should be helping one another and should be trying to evolve together.
So you like the idea of like a one world
nation? Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, but not in like the darker tones of it, just the humanistic. I'm a humanitarian, like, I believe in the human experience as one. Like, you and I don't look at you as Cuban, and I don't look at myself as Sicilian. I will happily say those things, but on the more spiritual and intellectual level, I can't I don't understand it enough, because where did mankind come from? What is the origins of our species, right? Technically, people will say Africa, but it's really Pangea. So we're all Pangean. But if you want to say Africa, then we're all Africans. Yeah, but you're not African. Why not? Because you're Sicilian. Well, then there's a chance I'm Mongolian, Greek, or whatever, whoever conquered the land at that time. I don't know, right? Oh, well, it's only 3 generations away. Well, then I'm Native American. Well, why? Because we were born in America, or the Americas, I should say, because technically we don't live in America. We live in the U.S., which is on North America, right? And that stuff to me is where it starts getting weird. Like, why is that? Why? Why? Oh, you're from Canada, so now you're the enemy, right? We're better than you. Well, why don't we work together to make it better together? No, this border that somebody decided, that has changed many a time since the dawn of humankind, have decided that this particular square or rectangle, or whatever the lakes determine. No, we own this part of the Great Lakes. You own that part of the. Like, it's so weird
because
to me.
it goes back to like individuality. I like the idea of everybody choosing a side. Like, I don't like, yeah, fine, if you want to,
But
if
whose
you want to
side are you
agree on,
choosing?
I mean, I agree with.
Who are we against? We're the same people.
Who am I against, or who are we against? Because we is a big.
Well, like, you and I are both the same species.
Yeah, but we have 2 different perspectives.
But that doesn't
We're 2
mean we're
different
not
people.
different. I mean, doesn't mean that we're not the same on a biological level.
Oh yeah, of course. But we're
So
not
why
talking
do I
about
want to see you
biology.
dead? I want to see you prosper.
Because of ideology.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
having ideologies has nothing to do with helping one another.
I mean, it can stop you from helping somebody else if you have a different perspective.
What I'm saying is, if I believe in, say, the god, right? That's the god. I make up the god, and you believe in, right? The god, right? That doesn't mean you are any less valued than I. And if you want to believe in that god, I should support that, as long as the fundamental 2 rules of existence apply, which have applied since the dawn of time. You are not physically hurting me or going out of your way to infringe on my freedom of existence, as long as my freedom of existence doesn't in turn physically hurt you and kill you or infringe on your freedoms, right? And that was the fundamentals of even back in the Egypt times. If you done wrong, the community came together and said, we agree collectively that you are not a positive representation of this community, and we're going to kick you out. And then they would go and build their own community. And then they started having these wars, right? It's also why Australia is sort of kind of a thing. They were like, where are we going to put these criminals? Not that Australia is a place of criminals, because it obviously has been 1,000+ years, right? But ideology shouldn't discredit us from supporting one another unless those 2 fundamentals are being affected. Those 2 fundamentals are survival. If you were an ant and you're a part of a colony, right? Or like red ants, and I threw black ants in there, they would get along. If I shook the thing, they would kill each other.
Interesting.
So if we could get along and just be like, well, I believe in and you believe in blah, 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 right? And I also like the color red and you like the color purple, but I'm not going to kill you and I'm not going to stop you from believing what you believe, as long as you don't try to kill me or hurt me or stop me from believing what I believe.
But the thing is that people do want to kill people.
And what do we do with those people? Because they are breaking the 2 rules. We, as a community, cast them out.
That's only if they physically killed somebody. But like, for example,
wanting to kill somebody is not killing somebody, because I think about killing people all the time. But it's those thoughts. Hasn't someone ever cut you off and you go, man, I want to kill you, right? No. That is the thought of no. You never go, oh, that person's an a-hole.
Yes,
but you don't know. but that thought doesn't mean it's real or true. Thoughts are not actions, and you can being punished for your
But
thoughts.
it's not the thought. Like
Intention that's a different thing.
you like, I don't know what happened with the screen that it like glitched on me.
Oh.
But so I going back to your perspective on like we should all kind of be like one. Like it's not gonna work because we're not the same. We're all different. You know, mentally speaking, we're all different. Like
Well,
for
how does
example,
the U.S. work then?
like that's, I know it's a beautiful country. We're
But how's
all
it work?
different. I mean, right now it's like not, it's like working, but like
I
not
don't
really
know.
working because we're not really all getting along.
Do you work
But
a job?
yes.
And are there people at the job that are not, I don't know, Republican Cubans?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Well, how do you do that? How do you and those other people, how do you make the choice to not kill one another?
Because I don't want to kill them.
Right. And they don't want to kill you, but you're different. So how do you spend time with them knowing that they are different than you?
By not caring.
By not caring, right? So based on what you just said, where it's like, well, we're all different, so we're not going to get along. That means you at work shouldn't be getting along with other people. But I guarantee you that
it all goes back to individuality. I have to want to not care. You know?
So
you have
you don't
to choose that.
Do you think they care? The other people at that job? How many people do you think work at your company?
I don't know. It's a big
30, maybe 30.
No,
let's say 100, just for arguments.
50 plus.
All right, 50 people. Why? Because I already know your position. You don't want to hurt anyone, and you don't care about what they believe. So why are there not at least 49 homicides happening a day at that business? And why are there not 49 fights? And why are there not 49 imprisonments? Why are there not 49 stabbings? Why are there not 49? Right? If there are 50 people there and you're the only one that doesn't care and chooses not to kill people, but you are all different.
I mean, they're choosing to not kill anybody either.
So if we had one world working together, there is a good chance that we wouldn't all choose to want to kill each other. And the people that did, the communities would come together and there would have to be laws that help protect those two sanctions.
But you would have to trust in the law, in the universal law, which I can't believe that's going to ever actually come to. If you have one government, that government can easily be corrupted versus having different governments from different countries.
But what if it was all one government?
Yeah, that can be easily corrupted if you only have one government. Just like it's like I'm going to put it on a smaller scale. Like Cuba failed because it relied on one entity, meaning the government, to be like to fulfill itself. And at the end of the day, the country goes down and downhill every year because there's no competition to that entity. It's just one entity doing everything. That doesn't work. You need competition.
I believe you need competition, but you don't need destructive competition. There's positive and negative competition. So I'm better than you.
That's all perspective. That's all perspective. I can disagree with you and say that you do need that. You need all types of competition. You know, doesn't matter what it is.
Us disagreeing would help evolve the conversation. Us disagreeing will help us learn. Us disagreeing might create a conversation. Like, for example, the last episode you and I did, we talked about FDR, and I feel I influenced you to think a little deeper than the surface level information that you have.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So we challenged each other, and I didn't just accept what I knew. I backed it up, or I looked up stuff because, I didn't want to just allow my surface, whatever it is that I have in my brain, to just be what I believed. I got a little bit of background, but also I said, do your research. I didn't say I am 1000% right, that this is the way, right? But growth comes from challenging. So I agree with you there. However, I don't think the idea of countries cancels out the potential for being challenged in a positive way. Like, why don't we go to war with Canada? Why don't we go to war with Mexico? Why don't we go to war with Cuba right now?
We don't have a reason to.
So if those borders didn't exist, would we have a reason to? Like,
I
I
mean,
don't understand.
it's not just about it's obviously the borders need to happen because they want to be able to say, okay, you are Canada, you have a different culture than us Americans,
But
you
why?
Mexicans have a different culture. It's all culture
No,
based.
wait. No, America has a culture, but within America's culture, there are cultures.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right. So
For
why are
sure.
they allowed to have culture
Because in
within the
America it's a
culture
melting
of
pot.
America?
Like
Yes.
Mexicans are just
So
Mexicans.
why is it? Wait, why? What?
Yes,
What?
when you in Cuba
Oh,
it's just Cubans, in Mexico it's
oh,
just
all right, all right, all
Mexicans.
right.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
I thought you said other than the Mexicans. That's
In America, there's like
there's lots
I
of
was
Mexicans.
born in Cuba, now I'm American. You know, it's
Yeah.
totally different.
But if America can have a melting pot of culture, why can't that concept be expanded?
Because the other countries don't allow that to happen.
Yes, because they are practicing the manipulation of self-governing and ideals that are about winning
But that's
and not
okay. I'm okay with that. I want to go to a different country and
and
see
feel threatened.
everybody as like Japanese, and I'm like the only one that's not Japanese. I'm like, yo, this
Yeah,
is so
but culture has nothing to do with no borders. Like you and I are in the same border and we have different culture. And there's nothing
yes,
wrong with that. If I went to Japan and Japan didn't exist, those people in that region would still have a culture. And
yes,
that culture wouldn't be denied because we are one world. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the idea that we are, well, this imaginary line exists, so therefore you can't cross it. Because we are already, in a sense, living very free to that cultural experience. But the concept, the dichotomy or the zeitgeist has conditioned us to believe in the value of not only currency, which is fake,
I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna bring that up
right? But borders, which is also fake.
because it has to do with business. If I go from Florida to Georgia because it's two different states because we created a border, now you created a business transaction. So like
It's a fake border.
that's at the end of the day it goes back to business, which that's why I'm not like against it. I like the idea that I can just go from Florida to Georgia, even though the lands are connected and it's totally different. The currency is different. I save more money going to Georgia, and we're in the same land. It's crazy.
Well, now you're talking about currency and you're talking about economics and stuff like that. But I'm talking about something a little bit, obviously, like the
It would be
concept that
so
I'm coming up with
inconvenient.
is wait, what?
It would be so inconvenient if Mexico and America were all the same, and then
They
when you go
are.
to
It's America.
yeah, but not really, because when you go to Mexico,
Are you
it's
not
not
in
the
America
same,
anymore?
it's not the same currency,
But
even
are
though
you?
it's the same.
Ignore the currency. Think of humans. If you go from the U.S. to Mexico, are you still in America?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's the
So
same
what's the
land,
difference? The culture. All
the
right.
culture,
Well, the
and the
culture can
money.
reign. Again, money is also a
That makes a huge
construct that I
difference.
think is crazy. For example, in the time of the Egyptians, they came up with these chips. They also did it in Rome. And currency though didn't start off as like gold and silver and then eventually turned into mint. But it was the idea of, so like if somebody had because originally I would go, hey, I have hay and you have a sheep. I need the sheep for the wool. I'll give you some hay. And there would be a transaction of that.
Right,
It wasn't
bartering.
necessarily business. It was, I need that and you need this. It's only fair. Or I have a skill. I will help fix your roof. Or I will, we're cooking. Why don't you and your family come over and we'll have a feast. Right. And then to make it convenient, the process of what eventually became economics was there was a coin that had 3 or 1 pieces of hay drawn on it, or a sheep,
But
or
at the time that we were bartering, there was already royalty. Royalty was
no,
already a thing.
no.
When did we start bartering, aside from when we were tribes?
Oh, well, that's a different question, because when we were tribes nomadically and trying to survive the ice age, we bartered all the time. You fish, I'll hunt. You gather fruits, I'll take care of this. You take care of the kids, I'll make the fire. That's bartering. That is the barter
So
system.
from tribalism, we moved into what? Imperialism, right?
Well,
Imperialism,
farming,
empires.
agricultural evolution or technology is what changed the nomadic lifestyle. We no longer had to follow the seasons. So we became a community of people. That's
So
why if you look,
technology.
technology, which has nothing to do with economics as a starting point. Because even back in Europe, right, you think money, uh, money was like slivered, silvers and golds and stuff like that.
Right.
But a lot of the times the money was held with the kings and the queens and the royal
Hmm.
family, and like peasants and stuff like that didn't really have money, right? But they still had these villages that survived because what did they do in the village? Well, I handle wheat, you handle rice, you handle this, you handle not that they handle because rice you need wet patties, but I'll take care of horses. I'll do this. I'll do that. And money kind of trickled in and out. And also occasionally there was this thing where so the king, the royal control over the region, because the king only was the king because the people of its region accepted that,
Right.
and they said you will protect us if we give you money, but that money was here's some of my harvest, here's some
Hmm.
of my right. But over time, when money sort of kind of started trickling into the poorer areas, the royal family would start running out of money. So what they would do is collect it all, right? Melt it all down, and then they would have to repress it because they would put like the royal signet on it, a sigil or signet on it. But over time, it would smooth out and turn fade. So it would just be this smooth slip. So they would periodically just collect all the money, re-signet it, and then start redistributing it, or I should say, yeah, distributing it into the communities. But money, as a like how we use it, is completely different as an economic system than it was way back in the day when villages helped one another, communities helped one another.
So are
You
you
know,
saying that money has divided people and
well,
ruined
power. The
communities?
concept of power has divided us. Like even the Mongolian Empire, Mongolia, Rome, and specifically Julius Caesar, uh, because he became one of the first emperors. So before him, it was really a Republican, right? Um, not that they were Republicans, but a republic. But there was also the Greek Empire by Alexander the Great, right? So all
Hmm.
these people were like, well, let's just expand our land. But when the Romans did it, they said, look, you could either join us, and we'll give you money. You could join the military. You could continue to do your own customs. You could believe in your own gods. That's fine, right? But you're Roman now, right? That's why Romans and Italians don't necessarily always say they're the same. Romans like we are Roman, just like Greeks like we are Greek, and so is everyone else, right? So, uh, but Sicilians are like, no, we're from Sicily, which wasn't always Sicily. But those communities still got to be the communities that they were. Just because they were Romans didn't mean they had to start being Romans, but they were under now the protection as long as they were just like, all right. That's why Rome, not always, but most of the time, they had a pretty peaceful. I mean, look how long the empire, even
Yeah, they
right
lasted a long time.
before the emperor started, it was a while. And then once the emperor, and it was all because Caesar went to Gaul because no one believed in him and they were like, they hated him. So he's like, oh, I'll just take over Gaul. He was there for a long time. And then he came back and they were like, oh, you have a huge army. You have all this money. Yeah, all right. And he came in and he became the Caesar, and then he was to make right what has been destroyed. He was like started implementing rules, and eventually he got turned into the emperor. And then he was like, I don't want to not be the emperor, and they right. Uh, at two, Brutus, at two. But power, control, strength, all these things had nothing to do with money at first. It had to just do with, well, the Roman Empire's power will be expanded. The Greek power will be expanded. The Mongolian power will be expanded. England's power will be expanded. I mean, if you look at the maps for England, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, and they were all different colors just to show the movement, you'd see like England, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, England, Scotland, England, Norway, England, right? Like it would just be taking up all that land area over, like, and going small, becoming big, right? Like it was just a constant battle just for those areas. And then once England became England, they started going other places, and then they were like,
Don't you think that has to do with ambition? Like, don't you like? I feel like the idea of man, because at the end of the day, we're talking about men. Women weren't doing this shit. So men conquering land.
wait,
That's
did you just say
ambitious.
women weren't in power back
I
then?
mean,
Because
not to the point of men. You know,
so
were there women fighting? I don't fucking know. I
they
wasn't
weren't
there.
fighting, but they were actually involved in the decision making. So the whisper, the pillow talk is derived by the queen advising and leading the king. Some of the
Well,
greatest.
but I'm saying, like, as far as conquering, like the
Oh
guys
yeah,
actually.
conquering. Yeah, as a physical combatants and stuff like that. But politically, women had a lot of power and influence, especially
And it
wealthy women.
and it goes back to the fact that they were ambitious. Like they wanted that extra land. They wanted, to be able to. I mean, go back to like a business. A business's goal is to develop, and how do you develop? By marketing and expanding yourself to a different like state.
Yeah,
Walmart didn't become Walmart by just sticking to one area. They became Walmart because they wanted to spread and feed America.
yeah,
It's
but does
just
Walmart only want Christians?
no. They want
They want
whatever they can
customers.
get.
Yeah. So why couldn't a one world nation be Walmart? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, well, we have this culture here, we have this culture. Okay, everyone can do their thing.
Because a business, because at the end of the day they are a profit. They want to make money. They have a right, because they want to make money, to dictate what their customers, or not customers, employees can believe in. Their customers can believe in whatever the hell they want. They're the
No,
customers.
the employees can believe what they want too, because they don't have to work there,
True.
right?
But
So
if it's a one world government, where are you gonna go? It's
but the
the
one world
problem.
government idea would be the same as, say, in America or a where it's like you should have the freedoms, because again, we're talking about those are the two things that can't be disrupted,
What,
or it would
religion?
not be a one word. No, physically hurting somebody, like going out of your way to hurt somebody, or your actions are going out of your way to infringe on other people's freedoms, and also your freedoms hurting people would be doing, right? So like,
But right now we are being infringed upon. The government right now is infringing upon people that are religious. I mean, just to go back to Christianity,
I
like
mean,
I
if
don't
you
think it's okay for the FBI to be investigating people that are Christian just because they want to go and protest and pray in front of an abortion clinic.
how
That's not
how
the
would you
FBI's business.
feel how would you feel if, say, the people in government were saying that this is a Christian nation, it will be a Christian nation, and if we win, we are going to make sure that we implement laws that help present this as a Christian nation?
I
Would you
mean,
be okay with that?
they're technically already doing that, just
Yeah.
not on a
Who do you
federal
think
level.
is doing that?
What do you mean? As far as
Like,
like
let's say
states?
there was video of certain people literally saying that is their goal. Who do you think
Uh,
is saying that?
well, I'm not gonna say most, because most is that's a
But
dangerous.
who is running
A lot
for
of
president
Republicans,
and has a blonde head of hair that has literally said,
but
this is a Christian nation and we will make it a Christian nation.
he's not
And when
even
I
Christian.
win, I will push for laws for Christian.
But he can't. Okay, so
I know he can't, but saying it.
I mean, he can say whatever he wants, and
No,
people
no,
are
you
gonna
don't
beat it
understand.
up.
You don't
People can,
understand.
but people can. Dude, the media says outlandish shit.
If the Senate and the House are majority Republican and
They're
Trump,
not.
if, as in hypothetically speaking,
Got it.
the vote goes in the way of Republicans in the House being majority Republicans and Trump is president, and his wish is to make it a Christian nation, the House and the Senate just have to make that law, because that's what they do. They are literally lawmakers.
Yes, that's what they
So
do.
he might not be able to go, this is a Christian nation and it is because I have stated and it is the decree. But he can say, hey, my fellow Republicans who are in the office, who ran under my name and I helped you get elected.
people elected those representatives. So
What?
if we the people elected Congress and Senate. So if they are agreeing to putting Christian laws, it's because we the people who elected them also agree. That's why they're there in the first
And
place.
that infringes on, that breaks the one rule. And that's why I think government and countries are crazy. Because I shouldn't have to be a Christian because I live in the US.
I mean, you don't. You can go to Romania. It's a very Christian nation.
But I don't want to have to go to Romania if I don't want
Christian?
to. No, I don't. I am not a Christian.
Oh,
I don't want to be in the US if I have
what is going to happen to you if they were to like implement Christian laws, whatever the hell that is? Like
what happened in Germany?
What is going to
what happened in Germany? What happened in the Mongolian rule? What happened in the English rule? What happened in the original?
What happened? What happened? People died?
No, Germany had 2 world wars, right?
And that was because of Christianity?
No, that's because they wanted a very specific way of living, which
but they weren't willing to kill people to do that.
And if you weren't that religion, what happened to you?
But Christians are not trying to kill people for not being Christian. You know,
have you ever heard of the Crusades?
Yes. Okay, so you're saying that people will go back to the Crusades?
Have you ever heard of the Muslim nation?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of extremists who believe their country
is the right to think like that?
But they don't have a right to kill people. Or
of course they don't.
People's freedoms.
But they're doing it. You know, like we can't.
So you're okay if that happens here in America? Because
I mean, I'm not okay with it. But if it happens, you know, we should have had better intelligence to have avoided that from happening. You know.
So if Trump became president and the House and Senate voted in for that, and people
voted for what? Be more specific.
Voted for the Christian nation and laws,
whatever that means. What does that even look like? Like a Christian? We were Christian. Okay, hold on. So your argument last episode was about how back in the days we had free college, right? Okay, so back in the day we had Christianity in public education, and then they took it off.
Yes, because religion,
which I think was a bad idea. But that's not, you know. Because if you're saying that we should go back in time, how we were free in public college, then why can we go back in time and how we had religion in school?
Christianity is not the only religion.
But it doesn't have to be Christianity. They all believe in the same thing. They believe in a God. They believe in no killing. They believe in no affairs. Like they believe in the same thing. That's
not necessarily true.
Like they don't believe.
They don't necessarily don't believe in affairs, because there are religions that allow for multiple relationships.
No, because they're polygamists. They're not polyamorous. Muslims are not polyamorous. They're polygamy. It's not the same thing.
So they date other people to marry them.
Yeah, but that's part of their religion. They still believe in marriage. Like I'm going to marry these women because I have to maintain them.
They'd have to be dismissed.
Of what? They believe in God. That's the whole point of religion, is to believe in a higher power.
So if laws were passed,
there, but you can still put
if laws were hypothetically passed, okay, that you could only be a Christian in the U.S.,
that would be wild, because we have freedom of religion. You can't just be Christian.
But if they changed the law to make it a Christian nation that says that worshiping other religions is illegal, would you at that point then say, maybe I voted for the wrong person?
No, because Christianity goes against that very mindset.
You're not listening to me.
You're not.
It has nothing to do about what you believe the mindset of Christianity is. I'm saying, if, hypothetically speaking, the actual law was changed where it is illegal to celebrate any other religion other than Christianity, would you then assume that you may have made the wrong choice?
Sure. If those laws affect other people from actually, except satanicness, I don't fuck with that. They can ban
Why not? What do you think being a satanic or a Satanist means? Because you know it has nothing to do with Satan, right?
They kill people.
No, they do not.
Babies. Yes, they do. In the 1990s, there was literally a talk show host about it.
Let me hear what the Bible's about.
In the 1990s, there were literally, those whole satanic rituals were all like super big in the 90s. That's like
saying Muslims all murder people. It's not true. There are fanatics. There are people that take stuff to the extremes. There are people who murder who are Christians and Catholics
The
because
Satanic Bible is do as thou will. Worship your flesh. Do whatever the F you want. That's what that is all about. And I've read it. So I'm going to tell you right now, I definitely think that should not be allowed. At
so
the end of the
you
day, I know
don't
why it
think,
is.
wait, just to clarify, let's ignore the Satanic Bible for a second. Not that I'm a Satanist, but let's just ignore it. Do you believe someone should control what you believe?
No.
Do you believe someone should say, hey, I know you want to do salsa dancing, but you're not allowed to?
No.
So far, you agree with the
As long as it
Satanic
doesn't
Bible,
hurt anybody.
which is what the Bible says. It says, do what you
What does the
want. Just
Bible
don't mess
say?
with people.
What does
The
the Bible say?
Satanic Bible says, do what you want, embrace who you are, allow your passions to move you forward. Just
Okay.
don't mess with other people.
But it does mess with other people because
No,
when you look at it in the
people mess with other people, and then that's like saying a French person shot someone, so French people kill people, but that's not true. A person killed somebody and they just happen to be French.
Okay, so you're okay with like us having guns because guns don't kill people, people kill people.
I don't believe in guns for killing. I believe in guns for hunting.
They're meant for killing. That's what they're for. Because when you hunt, you kill
That's the part I don't believe in. I don't believe in guns for killing. I believe in guns.
That's the purpose of the gun is to kill.
No,
just like the purpose of a knife is to cut.
That is not true. A knife has many purposes, and some of those purposes I don't believe in. I do not believe in a knife to kill people. I believe in a knife.
It's the same concept you were just using earlier. It's the same argument.
No, if I owned a gun, I would own it for the purpose of hunting, not killing.
But you're okay with people with banning guns because you don't believe that it should be.
I didn't say. You didn't hear me say banning guns. I believe that people should have the right to own guns, but I personally believe guns should be used for hunting, not killing, because I also don't believe people should kill one another. And if you kill one another, you have broke one of the two rules, which is don't hurt anybody or infringe on people's freedoms.
Unless it's self-defense, then you can kill somebody.
That's different because you're not going out of your way. If you beat me up and then I came and found you and killed you, I murdered you. But if you're trying to beat me up and I'm doing whatever I can and then I hit you hard and you fall to the ground and hit your head and die, I was protecting myself.
Right.
Let's be clear, okay? And obviously if I had a gun for hunting and someone was trying to kill me, and I would shoot them to kill them, but I wouldn't have the gun to kill people. My intent of the tool would be very specific. So I would not own knives. For example, I don't own steak knives for the sole purpose I can kill people with this. I bought them to cut my steaks because I like my meats. But that's my point. Like, we have to make choices, but the choices we make aren't based on, well, if I'm associated with XYZ. That's why I think it's crazy when Trump got shot and they're like, well, he was a Democrat. No, he was a Republican. It doesn't matter who he was. He was a person and he did something wrong. He shot at somebody. That is the thing that matters. Him being a Republican or whatever he was, or him being white, like all that is unimportant. None of that matters. It is a person of the same species trying to kill another person. Whether you agree with their stance or not, the person trying to kill somebody that you may or may not agree with is wrong. Because trying to do any one of the two things is literally the thing that I live by. If you try to kill somebody or go out of your way to hurt people, you are wrong, in my opinion. If you try to infringe on people's freedoms, whether it's to own a gun or play with dildos in their anus hole, I think you're wrong, right? But if you come at me with a dildo to stick it in my anus hole, you are wrong because you are infringing on my freedom to not want that.
Okay, so aside from the dildo, I know that of course, you wanted to continue having the conversation about dildos, but so if they were to say, let's pass a law and we're going to make this a fully Christian nation, all right?
Yeah, they are wrong.
I definitely think they are wrong. If they don't actually stick to what Christianity means.
They won't.
Which obviously they won't because that defeats Christianity. You're supposed to love everybody the same. I actually saw a podcast. I forgot this guy's name. I'm so bad with names, but he's like a known pastor. And he said, I don't know why the LGBTQ community thinks that Christians hate them, because we don't. We love everybody the same because God made us all, and we're supposed to love everybody the same.
But they
But
disagree
now,
with the
as a
choice.
Christian, you do have a decision to make on whether you want to love this person or not, because you are a human being at the end of the day. You
The
can be
only part of
prejudiced if you
that,
want to be.
I would push back that I disagree that as a Christian, you have to love everybody. I think as a person, you should love people
I mean,
and be
should,
nice to people
you know.
because it doesn't matter that you're Christian. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I was
But it's a
Muslim,
mindset.
it doesn't
You know, it's a
matter that I'm
mindset.
Muslim. Yeah, but it doesn't matter that I'm Muslim. If I'm being good to people, it's not because I am Muslim. I made a choice.
But it's not just about loving people, it's about loving God. That's why religion is even a thing in the first place. Is
Well, that's
because
another
it
show.
connects you to God, and then you gotta love people because God created everybody. That's what it's all about.
That's
And
a
that's what it's
different show.
supposed to be about, at least.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's say it's a nation under God, and it could be any God you want it to be, and we could all worship whoever we want, right? Why are there borders? If worshiping God is about loving one another and being decent and helping one another and raising community, why do we have borders and boundaries? That's my point.
Yeah, I
Because
totally get
love
it.
is a construct.
Lo-
Love for your neighbor is fake. It's whatever you want it to be because it's convenient. I can't love another person more than I love my partner because that would be wrong. Because I don't want my partner to fall in love with someone else because then I am not worthy. It's fake. It's all made up. The love for a parent is fake. It's all made up. Right? Because as
But
long
it's
as I
not
like
fake. It's
what?
real.
No,
The love for your parent is real.
how we behave is real because you can't denounce. There's no subjectivity to the behavior. If I punch people, I punch them. My intent doesn't matter. I punch them. Like I physically punch somebody. If I punch everybody I meet, doesn't matter what my intent is. I am a violent person. If I punch one person and I never punch another person in my life, I am not a violent person.
Right.
But I did punch someone. But we're
You
not
can
talking
be
about.
violent.
No, I can't be violent.
I mean, if you punch somebody, you have the capacity to be violent.
We don't know what the intent is now because there's not enough pattern recognition to dictate it as a thing. There's not enough data.
You don't think humans are naturally violent?
Subjectively, we have the potential to be violent, but objectively, we are not naturally violent. And the reason that is true is because you are not trying to kill or beat up your partner, and nor are they trying to beat you up. You go to work and you don't have to fight to clock in. You don't feel unsafe in the sense that like somebody's gonna jump you at work. You come home, you go to the grocery store without having your gun out and sneaking behind walls and doing perimeter checks. So I don't believe people are naturally violent. We have the subjective potential to be violent because
that's why there's police.
It's also why people own guns, right?
Exactly.
But I think violence for violence sake, again, I have hands, but I have hands to help. I don't have hands to kill. So going back to the gun, I have guns. I want a gun to hunt so I could survive and eat, but I do not have a gun to kill because your fists can kill too. It's a choice.
Right. It's a choice. But because it's a choice, like you can't trust everybody. That's why there are borders. You can't trust everybody. Going back to the borders.
But the border thing, just like love is a construct that you keep contradicting with your position. You're saying we need borders because we can't trust people, but yet you go to work.
Yes.
I mean, what does the borders have to do with being safe?
It creates an illusion of safety.
American?
No, I don't. That's why I have a gun.
Then the borders don't. I don't know if you should say that on here, but then the border argument has nothing to do with your safety because you don't feel safe because there are borders.
I mean, yes, border does create safety.
Okay, then why do you not feel safe?
What do you mean? Why do I not feel safe?
You said I have a gun because I don't feel safe, but you're within a border that you say makes you safe. So
Well,
how do borders protect you?
because a border is literally like, I mean, it depends what border we're talking about. We're talking about border
Canada.
of Florida, border of whatever.
Canada.
The whole point of the gun is to protect me from any imminent like danger.
Oh, so
That's the whole point of
the
the
border
gun.
is actually not protecting you. The gun is
Not
protecting
not
you.
in the moment in time, right? As we
All
speak,
right.
if the border is not going to protect me,
Yeah.
the border is to protect the country as a whole, not me
So
individually. The
you're
gun is for
saying
me.
we need a border, a parameter, another border, another state line. We need a county line. We need a city line, and then we need my house walls. So basically, you live in fear.
No, I don't live in fear
Oh, so then why do you need the borders?
because you do need protection from other
From what?
countries. From other countries.
So if we didn't have the borders, Canada would literally just attack us.
I don't know. I mean, our border with Canada really isn't that serious, you know. And the Canadians are super chill. They're not gonna, you know. The only reason why there's a border there is probably just financial reasons. I don't think it's any danger. But Mexico, yes, for sure. And if we're
You
not doing a very good job taking care
you
of
think
that border,
Mexico, if it didn't have a border, would
I mean, they have
just bring
cartels.
their army here?
They don't really need to. They have cartels to do that.
So you're saying, let's say the border, right, was gone tomorrow.
It is. It's been gone for 4 years.
All right. If you believe that statement, do you believe that there is no border in the Mexican area?
No, there's a border. We're just
All right,
not
there
taking
is a
care of
border.
it.
So you believe there is a. All right, you're saying we don't take care of it. So does that mean the border is not secure?
Correct.
So if the border is not secure, is it doing its job?
No,
So
because
if
the
it's not
people
doing
there
its
are not
job,
doing their
then
job.
why have we not had a full invasion?
We did have an invasion.
When?
They just don't call it an invasion.
So
When a bunch
when
of
has there
immigrants
been
came
mass
here
when
illegally.
has there been an army?
There was an army. A mass of people, just because they don't have guns, does not mean they're not an army or a threat. If you're coming here illegally and you're going against our laws,
Yeah.
you are a threat to this country, especially if there's masses of
What
you
is
going here.
considered going against our laws? Just coming here illegally or
That's
living?
already breaking the law. You're also trespassing. That's another law you're breaking.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
you're coming here with a bunch of kids. That's inhumane within itself because you're crossing a lake that you can die. Your kids can drown. The parents who have these kids aren't even being vetted because we don't even know those are the real parents.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why that's unsafe.
Right. So we need borders to feel safe, but we actually don't have a border and we aren't safe. And we are in an active war at this moment, except it's not war enough for us to have soldiers on the ground to
Correct.
physically kill and remove these villains, right?
Yeah. They're not, I mean, they're not going to do it.
As in the American government that controls the border is not going to do it. So why do we need borders then?
They're not going to do it because they don't want to, not because they don't have to. I mean, Obama deported like 3 million people from this country.
And that was
they
bad
called
or good?
that was good.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
I know he's not Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was good. He was the porter in chief. I mean, I'm not cool with Obama, but he was the porter in chief, and
Yeah.
you know,
You were okay with that.
I mean, I was a kid. I didn't even, it was irrelevant to me.
You didn't know that you had to hate him.
No, I mean,
Now you know. Now you're like, oh,
now I know.
I
I was
have
like,
to
oh
hate
shit,
him.
this
Yeah.
guy's a Marxist. What?
hate-
The education system didn't tell me this shit. That's crazy.
You're gonna have
Yeah,
to
bro. His
look that
dad
up.
apparently was a Marxist.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't make him a Mark.
Of course.
My
not.
mother is a Christian and my father was Catholic. I am neither. But based on what you just said, if somebody learned that, they would go, Tom is a Catholic. And then someone else would go, wait, his mother was Christian, so Tom is a Christian. But that is not true. If you found out my father was a Republican, I am not a Republican. But if somebody said to you, Tom is a Republican, and you said, why? And you go, his father is a Republican. How does that make me a Republican?
It has nothing to do with your parents. It has to do with your actions, and his actions scream Marxism. But that's another topic for another day. I'm gonna do a video on that because that's wild.
Please, can you do real-time research on that while you're doing the video?
Real
Please,
time research. What does that mean?
please, for the
Like you
love
want me
of
to look it
God.
up right now?
No,
Like
no, not right
I was
now.
like,
When
I'm
you do
not good at
your
multitasking.
episode, please, for the love of God, in real time, do research on Obama
Oh, I will.
being
I'm,
a
I'm not the
Marxist.
only one who's
No,
done this. There's been a
your
bunch of
position,
historians who've done this.
listen, your position
Black
is
historians too.
your position is Obama is a
A
Marxist.
Marxist. Yes,
Yes.
a
So
known Marxist.
you have to
Who's
do
been
real time research on
there's
that.
been other people that have said this. This is
It
not me
doesn't
saying
matter
some
what other
random
people
shit.
say. People say I am black.
No, known people with a platform with
Who
plenty of
cares? I
information
have a
on this.
platform. Did you know the
Okay.
earth is made of oranges? I
No,
have
I
a
didn't.
platform.
I had
I
no
have a
idea.
platform. No, I said it. I said earth is made of oranges. And because, as per your qualifying statement, I have a platform. So therefore, what I have said is valid. And I can actually go online and create websites. I can go on Wikipedia and develop a literal page on the theory and truth of Earth being made of oranges, which means I have two sources. I have a website that has it, and I have Wikipedia, both of which I created. And because I have the platform, I am validated. Does it
Don't worry
make it
about it,
true?
guys. I will
According to
validate
you,
my
I am
claim.
true.
But that this is a known truth that he
It's
is.
not a known truth because it is not
Now
accurate.
that Michelle Obama is a guy, we're not there. We have no full proof of that as of yet, but maybe we'll get maybe not. Who knows? Because we
You're
don't really
lucky
know
I
who
have
actually
romantic feelings for you.
we don't even know who actually killed JFK. People still think it's like Oswald, but we don't even fucking know. People are saying it's Lyndon B. Johnson. We don't really know. We don't know. All we know is that we know nothing. Except that Obama's a Marxist.
Did you know the moon is made of cheese?
I really believed that when I was a kid because of the little holes on the thing.
Being I have a platform and
Hey,
you can
man,
look up moon is watch. I can literally look it up. Watch. Is the moon
made up of cheese?
made of cheese? And it's the first thing that pops up. However, there is no actual historical belief or evidence that the moon is made of cheese. However, it is a historical popular belief that the moon is made of green cheese specifically.
Interesting.
This is from, and I quote, Flat Earth and the Myth of the Flat Earth. It was.
Hey, man, I respect flat earthers, bro.
But it's on the internet, so therefore it has to be true.
Flat earthers, I mean, isn't there something in biblicals that's a dome or whatever? Honestly, I don't know if I can say this on camera, but let's just say
it.
I am extremely objective when it comes to things like that. I'm like, hey, man, I don't,
Objective as in like it's objectively true that the earth is flat?
Oh, no, I have no idea if it's flat.
Do you know that it's round or more specifically oblique?
I know that the education system has taught us that it's round. That's
there's a small chance in your mind that the earth is flat.
I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me whether it's round, flat, oval, squared. I can
Mary.
Thomas.
Do you believe the earth is 3,000 years old?
I mean, that's what they say.
Who says that?
Science.
No, the Bible. My mom believes that because she was a born again Christian. She made me watch a movie made by the Christian Society of whatever it was. And it starts off, it goes, the earth is 3,000 years old. Right?
How old is Earth according to science?
Well, do you know what the planet Theia is?
No.
Well, you look at it every night. The moon, Luna, was a part of Theia that smashed into Terra. Do you know what Terra is?
No.
Do you know what planet? Do you know what the planet Terra is? Do you know where it's located? Do you know where the planet of Terra is located?
No, bro. Again,
we live
public
on
school system, bro.
We live on. It's called terraforming. You know when they say, "Oh, we could go to Mars and terraform it." It's called terraforming because the Earth is called Terra.
I'm telling you, I'm learning so much right now. Terra has to do with Earth. Okay.
Terra is Earth.
Oh, Terra is Earth. So why do they call it Earth and not Terra?
No,
Terra sounds like a cooler word.
That's a no. Yeah. Well, the modern name for Earth, for Terra is Earth, But
See, I
Terra
teach
was,
you that in school.
but like, who do you think Mars is named after?
I don't know. A god? No
That's
idea.
right. That's right. And Venus?
Another god. Aren't those
That's
all
right.
gods?
What about Pluto?
What's all like Greek mythology or
So
whatever?
Terra. Okay. Anyway, Earth is
Is that
4.
what Romans would say? Jupiter's cock.
That's right, because Jupiter is a god. 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth had formed.
Billion years ago. That's wild.
But you believe Earth is not only flat, but like 3,000 to 6,000 years old.
It was flat. I don't even know how old it is.
But you're saying you don't know if it could be round. That's what you said.
No, I don't. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know. But Obama's Marxist, yes.
Why do you believe the world could not be round?
Because I like having an open mind.
So if I told you this was like blue, right? And you were like, no, it's green. And then
no, it's definitely red, like a dark red.
Why do you believe it's green? And you go, well, I'm trying to have an open mind. Would that allow us to have
I don't trust
dedicated conversation?
NASA. I don't trust NASA, bro. In fact, isn't NASA like in Latin, like deceive or something like that, like some shit like that. I don't trust NASA, bro. Going back to the government, I don't really trust.
Does NASA mean deceive?
Yeah, NASA in Latin, doesn't it mean something like that? Like deceive
well, first of all, Claris
like
Actilis de Spes, Dias de Tenebra. You don't speak Latin, do you?
Gracias. No, I mean, español es un poco cerca.
Oh, hey, español. No hablo español, señorita. Por favor.
I said Spanish is, I guess, close to Latin. that's as
well,
close
it is. Well, Latin is the
origin,
the mother language.
Yes, it is.
Using the Bible to discredit. Oh, that's where you get it from. You cannot use the Bible for scientific debate.
The Bible.
Never read the Bible in Hebrew. NASA as a word, not NASA as an acronym.
My name is Hebrew. It means bitter.
Bitter.
But I'm not bitter.
You're making me want to have a 6-hour debate on just understanding your mind. I just want to be like, what's going on in there?
I have that debate. I have that effect on people. Yes.
Do you think I'm an idiot if I say the Earth is round?
No.
And that I don't have an open mind?
No. I just like not choosing a side when it comes to that. I think it's fun not to choose a side. Because then you look at weird, like, oh, you don't think the Earth is round? Like, no, I just, I don't really trust the education system. And then the other people are like, oh, you think the Earth is flat? I was like, no, but I mean, who cares?
Do you believe we are not Homo erectus?
What does that mean?
Human.
Oh, that's okay. That's another word for human, Homo erectus. I don't know why I thought that had something to do with like an erection. What is that?
It's 2 words, first of all. But Homo erectus or upright man is
okay. That makes sense.
Human,
right.
The human.
Homo human. Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Homo, yeah. Homo erotica. Do you believe we are human?
Yes.
Well, why don't you have an open mind for that?
Because
we could be lizard people. We could be from space.
I can heal myself. Oh man, you think lizard people exist? I can totally see that being a thing. Lizard people? What? You never know.
Do you think we evolved, or that we popped out of the earth as
okay,
people?
so like that, I don't know how we came to be. What I do know is that we were created by this like crazy complex intelligence. That's why we are like, our consciousness is like insane. Well, for those of us who want to use it, but I do think we can evolve. Consciousness can evolve, but I don't know if we as humans came to be like this. We just popped into thin air, like, hey, we're here.
We came out of the dirt and we were like, hey,
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I do know that
we were educated.
Consciousness, we can evolve for sure.
Did you think humans appeared and then they were already developed, as in like they had social standards? They were worshiping Jesus and God himself?
No, I think we started doing that. We evolved to doing
like that. We created that.
Yes. I don't think we created God.
Well, the concept, the construct of God.
No, I definitely don't think we created the construct of God. God was already here before us. That's why we're
So
here.
how did we know God exists?
I mean, I think it's. I
He
think
came
it's.
down and was like, "Here's the book."
No, I think it's intrinsic. I don't know how the book came to be. I have no idea
The
about
book came to be because several people, because it's written by more than one person. That's why it's the book of Job or the book of Michael or the
I
book
mean,
of
yeah, it's
Matthew.
just like the Constitution. It was made by a bunch of dudes. Same thing. The Constitution was made by a bunch of guys who believed in God. They weren't Christian though. They were deitists,
Yeah,
right?
they weren't all.
Bunch of white dudes.
First
Just
of all,
one.
they weren't all white.
Hey man, they weren't black. Oh god, this is why I get canceled. Oh snap, that's funny.
Signing of the
Sometimes
Declaration.
he's looking into it. Who
No, because I
created the
know the answer.
Constitution?
I just want to read it to you.
Okay, go. Mm-mm. I mean, the people who made the Bible, I'm assuming, were a bunch of guys. You know,
There were free African Americans in Philadelphia in 1776.
that made the Bible or the
No,
Constitution. What are we talking about?
there is a senator.
Mm-mm. Talking about blacks created the Constitution. You should tell that to black
No,
people.
they didn't create the Constitution, but they would. Yeah, so shortly after the Civil. Oh well, that's after the Civil War. Anyway, but there were African Americans who were elected to the Senate and stuff like that.
What, after the Civil War?
Yeah, because this. Yeah,
I mean,
shortly after the Civil War.
I would have
during
hoped so.
but during the independence, there were people free black people in that area, and some were in the building during the signing of the. But this is interesting though. Like I kind of want to. I'm intrigued to pick your mind, not to belittle it, but
Wait,
to
but what conversation were we just on? The Constitution? No, the Bible. The Bible. Okay. So I don't think that we created God because God was already a thing. Like it created everything. It created the universe. It created everything. So I don't think.
But this is
created
subjective.
God. No, this is what created everything.
No, because we
Bang,
don't
they've already discredited that.
We don't have a source to defend the position. We can't deny it or accept it.
That's what makes it real. You can't deny it. If you want to accept it, that's your choice. That's what religion is all about. The end of the day is to accept it as truth.
But
you can't deny it.
Scientific facts suggests otherwise.
That's not true. There's science that's already proven that there is a higher intelligence out there. But
no, as far as the development of religion and man. Because you're saying Christianity was the original religion because God is Christian.
I'm saying God. Believing in God was always a thing before religion even was a thing.
And what do you think God was to them?
What it is to me. You're believing in something other than yourself.
You believe the sun is God.
I mean, some people did. I mean, if you really think about it, the sun technically is part of God because it gives life to plants, to us. So
is there only one sun in existence?
I have no idea, but it's definitely a part of God. Just like the moon is a part of God.
Do you know the name of the sun?
No, I just call it sun or sol.
Well,
isn't it Ra in like Egyptian times? Didn't they call sun Ra or whatever?
Ra is the god of the sun.
Oh, there you go.
Sol, it's the solar system, so it's Sol.
There you go. Sol. Yes. Okay.
It's the system of Sol. It's the solar system. Anyway.
Who created that system? A super intrinsic complex.
Do you really believe there is only one star?
I mean, no, there's dozens of them and they move.
But the star is a sun. Like our sun is a star.
Yeah, that's what they say. I don't really care. I just know it's alive and it's part of God.
You think the sun is alive as in like it has a consciousness? This is
I don't know if it has a consciousness.
I'm curious.
I don't
nor
know if
that
it
I
has a
am.
consciousness,
But you said it's
but
alive.
it probably does if it's alive. Nature has consciousness. So,
I mean, it is a
yeah,
ton of atomic
we
and
do
nuclear
need it.
explosions.
We do
Why?
need it.
Why do we
We have
need it?
consciousness because we need it to be alive, just like
What do you mean?
nature needs sunlight.
But
You know how
what
they
is it? What
say
is it about the sun that helps us live?
it gives us energy, it gives us
But what energy?
vitamins.
How does it give us vitamins and stuff?
I have no idea. I
Do you
just
know what
know
a
that we need it.
proton is?
I know that I learned that. I don't know what it is. A proton, electron, neutron, all that stuff. You lost me on my. I don't know about
Do
any
you
of that.
think the galaxy that we live in, the Milky Way, is the only galaxy?
No. Vast. I think it's so endless.
Do you know how the universe itself, like all existence, how stars were formed?
No, I don't. I don't. I just know it was all created by one thing.
Like it was like they snapped their fingers and then it all was as it
Oh,
is
we
now.
don't. I don't think it was a snap because I know it was inhuman, but it was definitely something out of this
Do you think it was
world.
created as is now, or it evolved into as is now?
Evolve
Because
sounds like it makes more sense because we evolve. So why can't God evolve?
so Earth wasn't Earth when it was first created. It was like just a
No,
ball of
maybe it was
magma.
a little baby, and then it's
Well, do you know how Earth formed?
No, man.
I'm not. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to understand where
I
you're
all
at.
I know is that supposedly we're on this ball, and the ball has gone through a lot of history and trauma,
Yeah, definitely
and
a lot of
and
trauma.
then I'm here right now. Yeah.
But you
Don't we
don't
think
think the
about
Earth is
those things?
6,000 years old, do you?
My soul is. I don't know how old my soul is.
Not your soul. Earth, the planet we are on.
Oh, I have no idea. For all we know, it's probably even older than what science says it is. I have no idea.
So you're agreeing that it is definitely older than 6,000 years old.
Oh, we have no idea how old.
So you
this
think
is.
it could be younger than 6,000 years old?
I don't know. I mean, what is time really?
No, I'm saying let's say we understand time together, like you and I, we agree that time is a construct of measurement.
Right.
Okay.
At least
So
now.
if I say 1,000 years in this conversation, you understand that I'm talking about 1,000 years passing.
Right.
All right. So with that said, do you believe Earth could be older or younger than 6,000 years? Or are you
Why
saying
not?
that there's no way you can assume any of that?
There really isn't a way for me to assume any of that. Whether it's older or younger, it doesn't. To me,
You
it doesn't
don't
really
know.
matter. I
You don't
don't
even
know.
think Earth exists.
No, it definitely exists. I just don't know it's the shape that
You don't
we're
know the
saying.
shape or the. Do you think it's possible that it's older? How old are you?
28,
And how old is your mother?
56.
Do you think it's possible that the Earth is older than 56 years or only 56 years old?
It's definitely older than my mother.
All right.
And my grandmother.
And your grandmother. So it's at least, at minimum, 100 years old.
It's definitely older than that because this country is already 200.
All right. So you do
years
understand
old.
the concept of time. It's not that
Yes.
you can't make a verbal decision on that.
Yes, it's obviously older than this country and a lot of other countries. We just don't know how old it is.
How long ago do you think Rome was?
Years ago.
Well, what year are we in?
We're in 2024.
And if it was 500 BC, that would mean 2,500 years ago, right?
That was, Jesus Christ, that was a long time ago.
So do you think Earth is only 2,500 years?
No, it's older
Or
than
younger?
that.
So it's potentially older than that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, because Rome existed.
What about the time before the Romans with the Greeks, the Greek Empire?
Also older than that.
So what about
older than the Mongolian Empire? And
what about the Egyptians?
Yeah, older than the Egyptians.
So is it possible, because we are the exact year away from Alexander the Great, that Alexander the Great was from the pyramids. So
Okay.
that's like 4 or 5,000. That's like 5,000 years ago. So do you think the Earth is
That's crazy.
younger or
Long ago.
older than 5,000 years?
It's definitely older than that. Wait, the Bible said 3,000 years
It
ago?
says 6,000.
6,000 years
Depends
ago.
what you read, what passage you read.
Okay. I mean,
But
whatever.
Christianity as a faith, not necessarily that old.
No, it's not.
However, that would assume that the
It's younger than Judaism, isn't it?
it's
I think Jewish.
much younger than Judaism, because Jews helped build the pyramids. Some would say against their will, and
I don't believe that.
you believe they were like, "This is fun."
No, I don't believe they built the pyramids.
Oh, aliens built it.
I mean, we can't come up with the technology, so I definitely
we
don't
can.
think it was humans.
And we have.
They haven't done it.
No,
they
no,
haven't
have.
they haven't replicated the pyramids.
Because there's no reason to build another pyramid. But the technology.
That's the only way to prove that you could actually do this by rebuilding it all over again. If you can't rebuild it, how do you even know that you can do it? Just because science says so, so we should just believe science?
Do you believe aliens build all the pyramids?
I know that they were so heavy, we don't have the technology to have been able to do that.
Just in Egypt or all over?
I think the pyramids have some electrical something.
All the pyramids or just the ones in Egypt?
No, all of them. And they're all connected.
And where are they?
I mean, they're all different parts of the world, which is
like where? Like where's another place one could be?
Mexico. I want to go. We're so close to pyramids. They're right there.
So those Mexican pyramids built by the Aztecs were actually built by aliens.
I mean, I don't think they were built by humans. His face is like.
Do you know about the pyramid that's underwater near Japan? The Japans?
I mean, I'm sure. I don't know how many pyramids there are in the world. What I do know, what I don't really know, but I'm assuming humans did not build them. That's what I know. They used them.
So subjectively, you believe there's a potential for alien life.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Maybe
it's not even alien life. Maybe it was like
in a world that only has one sun.
I mean, maybe it was high-tech technology that just got destroyed. We don't fucking know. You know how long ago that was?
I'm not judging. I'm just trying to understand because it's interesting to me. I'm trying to have an open mind of how to approach things without.
And we don't even use those pyramids anymore. Like, what was the point of the pyramids if they're not even used anymore?
Do you know why they built the pyramids?
So supposedly for what the Aztec was because they wanted to kill people. It was for like sacrifice, give sacrifice.
It wasn't that they wanted to kill people. It was
that's what they believed. Let's sacrifice these people real quick. The way we can.
They played games to be the one who got sacrificed.
Entertainment at the end of the day has always been a thing.
Do you know why the pyramids were built though? Like they built more than like those 3 huge pyramids. Like there's other kind of like.
What was the point of building the pyramids? I mean,
you're the one who has all this information. I'm trying to learn from you.
Supposedly, Nikola Tesla said they had some electrical magnetic. They were like some.
So they built it for
towers.
Electricity.
They were like some electrical towers.
And the tombs inside have nothing to do with anything.
Maybe it's a temple too. I don't know. I have this book called The Flower of Life, and it's supposedly Egyptians used it to like, use psychedelics, and they shoot up and then they, leave.
Mary, I am fascinated right now. I don't think you understand how fascinated I am. That I believe you're making me believe Stargate is real.
You never know.
That might be that just might be footage found. Like historically, they found that footage and they called it a movie.
There's people that believe that we didn't go to the moon.
Oh my God. We totally went to the moon. You can see the stuff on the moon.
I don't know, man. I don't think we had the technology back then. I don't know, man.
Can you do
me a favor? I don't know, man.
Can you please, for the love of
Hollywood
God,
is really good at
what they do, For the love of God, go to anywhere where there's a huge telescope, and I don't mean one where your friend could buy from Walmart. I want you to go find a huge telescope that's available to the community. Okay. You might have to go to California, but it'd be worth it. Put it on the damn moon and enjoy looking at the rover, the flag, and whatever else was left there. And you tell me they just drew that on the telescope or that you saw it.
There's a guy that Laz follows. I forgot the guy's name. He's a podcaster. He has this big telescope and he zooms into the moon and he sees like these weird faces and shit of the moon. And I'm like, what is that? Like, was there, I don't know. I didn't see no rovers though in those videos, but I definitely saw some
Those
weird
telescopes are not big enough to see the moon at the quality that you need. You know, the moon's like 3 days away from us, right?
Crazy. 3 days.
Do you think the moon is like right next to us?
I mean, you know what I've always thought when I was a kid? That we're actually underwater. Like the moon is actually underwater. And that's why it looks all like this when you're looking at it through a telescope.
I love you more every day. I just want you to know that.
Listen, there might be some truth to that. You never know. How about how come we don't know how deep the ocean goes? For all you know, the ocean is the space. We do know. Like you go through one side and then you end up on the other side. Can you like a video game? Whoa.
What is the deepest?
We don't know how deep it goes. We just
we've hit the ground. It's called the Challenger Deep. The deepest known point in the ocean is Challenger Deep, which is located at the south end of the Mariana Trench in the West Pacific Ocean. It is 10,935 meters, also known as 35,876 feet deep, and the Mariana Trench itself is over 1,580 miles.
That's known, though. That's what we know based on the technology that we have. We don't know how deep it can actually go. If that was the case, and why haven't we only discovered 10% or supposedly 10%?
No, we've only understood 10% of the contents of the ocean compared to
anything that has to do with how deep it goes.
No, the deep part was the deep part we figured out.
I don't think so, man.
Do we not know how deep
You're using
the
Google?
ocean goes? No,
you think Google is God?
No, because it has several different. If I wanted to, I could go to the other things. But yes, much of the ocean's depth remains unknown to the humans, including its depth. I don't know. I can't believe that though, because you said I'm not allowed to use this as evidence. You were just judging. You were just judging. Listen,
bro, you're using technology, so I thank you, technology, for proving my point. But I'm
know what the deepest technology. It says here. It says. However, we do know the deepest point. But the ocean is not flat and uniform, so water depths vary.
Yeah, there's no way it's flat.
Only 20% of the ocean's depth have been mapped.
That's crazy. 20% is nothing in the grand scheme of things. And yet, we build the pyramids. Okay. Okay. Whatever. Sure.
So this is saying we understand the depth of the ocean and we found the deepest part of the ocean, but the ocean floor itself hasn't been completely explored. So there's a thing that they could do with, do you believe in satellites, or is that fake too? I just want to know
satellites. No, it's real because, Google tracks me all the time. So unfortunately, that's
so they can look down, right? Right. Watch. Can satellites see the ocean floor and depth? Yep. So thanks to gravity. Do you believe in gravity?
Yeah, whatever gravity is.
Are you saying there's a chance that gravity is not real?
No, I mean it's real because we gave it a name.
All right, okay. Well, I'll agree with that. That statement I will agree with. Gravity was the name, the construct, the name we gave to it. but gravity as a function is real.
It's real, right?
All
Yes.
right. So the ocean surface has broad bumps and dips that mimic the topography of the ocean floor. So these bumps and these dips can be mapped using very, very accurate radar, altimeter mounted on a satellite. So we're able to look at the ocean anywhere and everywhere. We just haven't physically gone down and done the actual investigation of it. So yes,
Does
satellites can see the ocean floor and depth using varied tools. So
those satellites also are the ones that enhance borders. Like this part of the ocean floor is yours, and then this part of the ocean floor is yours.
but border yeah. Anyway. What
Gotta
school
go
did
back
you
to
go
that.
to, by the way?
What
Definitely
school?
Florida, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Because I went to
That's not
Florida
why I'm
State.
so open-minded, because if I was actually
You'd
allowed,
have to be open minded because it's all crazy.
if I allowed my education to really indoctrinate me, I would believe everything they wanted me to believe.
I went to school in Barron Collar, and I'll say that they had a pretty good educational system there. I met Jeb Bush, told him he was a moron. I shook his hand, and I gave him a long, articulate question about the educational system and how the testing has been misproportionate to allowing certain students to be placed into special ed classes or resource or whatever. And he's like, son, but the question I asked him was detailed and educated and elegant. And he told me, son, you shouldn't ask questions you don't understand. And I says, well, sir, you are a moron if you can't even answer the fundamental foundation of the subject matter itself.
We're talking about
Jeb
Bush
Bush.
Senior.
No, Jeb Bush.
Oh, Jeb Bush. I was like,
One of the sons.
okay.
And my teacher gave me an A+ because he's like, you stood your foundation and you were right and they were wrong. Anyway, and then I went to a school, Dunedin or Dunellen or whatever.
This was where? Florida?
Yeah. And I went to that school, and I once said to a student, hey, I was making a joke. I go, do you think God created beavers to dam the rivers? And the teacher heard me say that and said, you have to go to the office because you said a very bad word. Because they thought I said, God damn it. Or God damn it. And I said, no, God damn the rivers. Anyway, they put me in school detention, right? Or rather in school suspension, where you have to sit the whole day in this.
Yeah, CSI.
Yeah. And in it said, what is your name, Thomas? And it says, why are you here? And I says, well, I asked a student if God was created the beavers to dam rivers. And I got another day of in-school suspension for blasphemy. And then it said, what's your name? The next day I was there. It said, what's your name? And then it said, why are you here? I go, in fear and lieu of the consequences of yesterday's interactions with this sheet of paper, I am going to have to plead the fifth. And I basically got kicked out of school for that, which is crazy. So then I had to go to summer school. And I go there and they said, we're going to spend the next hour writing a creative story. We're going to do some creative writing. And I wrote about a wizard. And I got sent to the teacher's office for devil worshiping.
I was trying so hard not to laugh.
Trust me. It was terrible. Anyway,
I understand why you're so
that
anti-Christian now. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm not anti-Christian. I'm just not a Christian. But I dropped out of school that day, and then I just created a career in music from that point on. But 17. It was so insane. So I don't believe, and I actually believe you believe this too. Florida doesn't have, at least back then, the educational fortitude.
No, it doesn't. I mean,
prepare you to think.
When you were in school, it was very like.
Oh yeah, they had horses. That's how we got to school when I went. So old.
Like that's crazy that they would use religion, because I mean, then again, it was a different time. But yeah,
that's my fear. If somebody happens to get elected with a majority House and state making Christianity laws, and now kids in school, to place the 10 Commandments in school to me is the most insane and ridiculous thing in the world.
But the 10 Commandments are like
I disagree with you wholeheartedly, only
it's a
because
moral
that
thing.
is your religion.
But it doesn't have to say Christianity on it. You can just say,
It's
well, we
the
believe it.
10 Commandments.
Our virtues, right? Virtues. Yeah.
But those aren't 10 virtues. They are Christianity virtues, and Catholicism has changed verbiage for those.
What are the 10 Commandments?
Thou shalt not worship any other god. Thou shalt not support other idols, meaning don't worship other gods, which means there are other gods because it's saying don't worship them, right? It says thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal.
Edit it for college or school purposes,
My point is, you should be allowed to live by the 10 Commandments. You should be allowed to preach the 10 Commandments to people who are willing to listen. But when it comes to a facility, especially government ran, your religious belief should not be placed on that wall or within that system. I do not want to be taught anything from the Bible because it is not what I care about. However, if somebody wanted to talk to me about the Bible, that is different. But if I'm in a school and they are only teaching me Christianity, but they are not teaching me the Hebrew religion or Muslim or Islam or whatever, if they don't teach me about, then I don't care about it. I don't want to hear, because that's wrong, because they are taking away something. They are infringing on your freedom of how to develop and make choices. If they're saying you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, which is crazy, and you have to say these 10
Commandments. That anymore.
I know they don't, because it is an infringement on your freedom.
But it shouldn't be. That's the Pledge of Allegiance of this country. But you're pledging to this country. You are an American.
You should be allowed to pledge or pledge in silence.
No, you shouldn't. You are funded. You're in a federal, a government-funded, meaning taxpayer-funded institution called public school system. Mm-hmm. And because we are Americans and we're paying for you to go to school and get educated,
you're an American.
You need to pledge to the American country, which are the people. You are pledging to the American people. That's what you're doing. We are a republic, so you got to pledge to the republic. That's what makes you. That's part of being an American.
What's the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment is to fight against tyranny of the government if they become a threat to the people.
And what's the First Amendment?
Freedom of speech, religion, press,
and expression.
And
so I have to do the pledge against or for the First Amendment?
When you are a child, you don't have the same rights as an adult.
That is incorrect.
You don't have the same. If you can, as a child, you cannot get a tattoo. Therefore, you shouldn't have a right to choose whether you want to pledge or not pledge.
There are responsibilities placed against the parental units to support a protective.
Now, if the parent is telling the school, "Hey, I don't want my kid pledging," that's different. But the school shouldn't force you to pledge. I totally agree with that, 100%.
Should it force you?
Sad that they're not doing it now. I think that's absolutely just incredible. We have ROTC in school. So how are you not? It's just, I don't know.
You think people should be forced to do things in a country that has borders that you believe in, where the First Amendment
it's not about forcing
freedom of
you.
speech,
it's not about forcing
religion, and expression.
It's not about forcing. You are in a public school system that is being
that
funded
doesn't
by
give
American
you the choice. If it doesn't give you the choice, that is forcing you.
But it's not about choice. When you're a child, you don't have the choice.
But you should
get a tattoo. So,
but you should have the choice on whether you want to do something or not.
Not as a child. No, you don't get that choice. Your parents.
My parents told me I had to go to church, and then I got old enough and started understanding that they took away my right to understand faith.
But they didn't take it away.
No, they did. And that's why I was upset at them. They did. They forced me into Catholicism.
They didn't see it as a force. They wanted to teach you their way of believing in God. That's not a force. That's what your parents
When I said mother,
instill their values on you.
Mother, I don't want to do this anymore. She said, you have to, or you will go to hell.
That was her belief.
but that is forcing me to do something I didn't believe or understand at the time.
Eventually, you did.
And then what did I do? I stopped being a Catholic, and so did she.
I mean,
she became a
that's
Christian.
funny. It's kind of like the same.
It's not a Christian. A Catholic is Christian, but a Christian is not
Christian.
Catholic.
It's not Catholic. I know, but that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like
but they're not the same.
Really. Like
one believes in the church and the Pope, and the other one believes that Christ died for their sins.
Yeah. I mean, no, Catholics believe in Jesus Christ. He just believes
but they believe in the church and that God is spoken to through the Pope.
Yes, yeah, which is retarded.
You're talking to a Sicilian.
God is through, can speak through anybody.
Italians believe the Pope is indeed the embodiment of God.
That's sad.
Yeah, don't say that. Because it's their way of life.
I mean, it is their way of life, but to me, it's very sad, very unfortunate.
Do you think they should be forced to believe that?
No, because
Do you think they should have a choice to agree to that or not?
Yes, they do have a choice.
No, they don't.
They're adults.
No, because you said children shouldn't. They have to. A child must believe that the Pope is God until they reach a certain age.
That's what their parents want. Yes, that is what their parents want. Yes. The parent is the ultimate decider, and the administration of that school who's getting paid by the parent. So at the end of the day, it's really just the parent.
So the parent wants the child to.
If all the parents are like, yes, they should be pledging the national whatever anthem, then yes, they should be pledging the national anthem.
Says they shouldn't, then you're okay with it.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it's the parent's right to say no. You know,
all right.
It's
so
like
school, but the school. When I went to school, you had to stand up, no matter what your parents said.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so that's being forced to do something you don't believe in. So
how do we know that the parents didn't agree to it?
Just like my parents did not agree. My father did not. The government blew my father up. So my father did not believe in the government. Right? They blew him up. What?
Smart man.
Well, he was in Vietnam, But so against his will, he was drafted, right? So but with that said, he was like, you don't have to do the pledge. And I was like, all right. And then the teachers were like, yes, you do. So I just sat there and then I would get detention. And I accepted it because I didn't believe in school either, because school was not really teaching me how to think. I'm much smarter than.
But that could have. Let's say let's put it in a perspective of now. Like, let's say like I have a child. I'm a war vet, whatever. And then I tell my kid, oh, you don't have to pledge. And if he gets in trouble for that, then I would have to actually go out of my way, go to school, and be like, yo, I don't want my kid pledging. And that's it.
You didn't have that option when I was in school, because my dad did say he doesn't have to do the pledge. And I still had to do the pledge, but I didn't. And then I would get detention. And it was so ridiculous. It was at the point where they asked me to stand outside of the room during the pledge.
It's in a stance like that because it's something that's like a programming. It's a programming to pledge to the national anthem.
Yes.
I agree with that program, but I agree with the programming. I understand it's a programming, but I agree with it.
No. It's
like I'm an American. I'm a proud American, so I'm always going to be like, yes, America first, let's pledge.
Do you think there should be absolutely, without any ability to say no, prayer in school?
That would be pretty amazing if you can pray in school.
You can pray in school, but what if it was mandatory that no matter what your religion was, you had to pray to God, specifically Christ, because that was the majority of schools, especially in my time, and definitely in my parents' time, where they had to pray, they had to do the pledge. Now, if the school permitted you to pray and do the pledge at your desire, I am for that. Like if they were like, listen, there's 10 minutes before we start class. If you want to pray to whoever you want and you want to pledge to allegiance to the flag, the 10 minutes before class is for that. But if they tell you you have to, no matter what you believe, no matter how much you want to challenge something, because challenging helps grow,
Right.
you have no freedoms.
I think that half of it, I agree with half of it. You should choose whether you want to pray or not, but
But if you don't choose, the hell with
but
you.
the anthem is a non-negotiable. We are living in America. You are an American citizen, therefore you need to pledge to the American country.
So you believe in everything
You're
America
pledging
stands
to people who fought for us. Like that's what people don't
No, you're
understand.
not.
It's not
No,
you're not pledging just for the flag. The
No,
flag obviously is a symbol, but you're fighting for the people that died for us.
No, you're pledging because of the manipulation of control. They are forcing you into a system. What do you think school is?
I mean, it's an
How many
institution.
hours is school?
It's hours. That's why I didn't continue after 2 years of. No, I did politics, but I didn't graduate.
We're not talking about college. We're talking about high school and
high
junior
school, yeah,
high.
9 years. I mean, honestly, we don't. In the grand scheme of things, we're not in school that long compared to other countries. You know, like
but
Asian
I'm talking
countries.
about the day of school. So in school,
8 hours a day.
8 hours. So a work
Full
day.
time.
You hear the bell, you get up, you leave. You hear the bell again, you got to get to class. If you're not there on time, you're a bad person.
But that's the thing, though. Like you're seeing it in this like doom and gloom, like the controlling you. This is an institution, and we're indoctrinated.
Yes.
Yes, 100%. But my perspective is the reason why we have a flag is to respect the flag. Like it goes back to your perspective. You don't care about flags. You don't care about a nationalism. You want everything to be all together. But I'm an individual. I don't want everything all together. I want everything separate.
You should have the right for that choice, though. But your choice should not infringe on my choice. You wanting to pray and do the pledge, I'm for that. What I'm not for is that I have to be for that. That's the difference. If I'm in a school or a part of a country or in a city and I have to wear a very specific badge that's made of a yellow star on my shirt because I'm a part of this country and that's their current belief, that is wrong. If I am forced and told that I have no rights but to do the thing they are telling me to do, I am not living in a free country.
What's wrong with pledging?
There is nothing wrong with it. What's wrong is the forcing it. Pledging to a flag, nothing wrong with it. Being told that you have to do this without any option or you will be punished is wrong.
But if you don't encourage it, then we have people that don't respect the flag or the country itself.
True. You can respect the flag and not have to do the pledge.
But if that's the case, then why do the youth now doesn't respect this country? Why?
There are many reasons for that, and it is not the pledge of the flag.
But that's what's happening. Why is it more common for an immigrant who just came here to be more American than somebody that was born here? Because we are conditioning Americans to not give a shit about this country. And that goes back to pledging for the country. If you don't encourage people or enforce them to care, they're not going to. That's just how it is. So that's why I'm saying I'm perfectly fine with.
You're against socialism, right?
The grand scheme of it. I know we have social programs, but the grand scheme of
you're against socialism, but you are saying that people should be forced to celebrate the country.
Their children.
So they can be trained.
Children should be encouraged in a mandatory way.
Have you ever heard of the Soviet Union?
Yes. Yeah, they took over Cuba.
Do you think painting should be painted over? Like art? Do you think art should be painted over?
I mean, if there's a better art, then erase that art and put a new art.
What if it was just painting it because they didn't believe in it anymore and the government was like, we can't have that artist because that artist doesn't believe in socialism. They don't believe in our country and they didn't celebrate our flag. So we're going to paint over every single thing Leonardo da Vinci did. Do you think that would be great if we took all of Leo da Vinci? Why not?
But that's that's not the same thing.
It is.
You're saying the government, you're talking about government control over individual liberties. Okay, but we're not
Mary, it is not a liberty to be forced to do something. That is not a liberty.
When you're a child, you're
having
not
the
100% free. You're considering it as if kids are free. Kids are not free. They're bound by their parents. They're
So
not
why
free
does the government have the right to train them?
because we pay for it. We're literally paying the government and a shitty job, and we're overpaying the government to teach
So if
ourselves, our
the
kids.
government decided that everybody that has long hair has to cut it to go no further than their shoulders, because that is how we show respect for the government, you would cut your hair? And then
No,
what? So you don't respect the government.
no, I
Based on
don't.
that situation, you don't respect the government
But
because
the
you are not
flag is not
following
the
the
flag is
tradition.
not the government. The flag
What?
is the country. The
But
flag is
the
not the
hair,
government.
the flag is the country.
Yes, the flag is the country,
So
the people that
pledging
died for the country, not the government. Two
the
separate
flag, we're not
concepts.
making a pledge to celebrate the people who died for this country.
No, we're making a pledge to be grateful for the people that died for this country, for us to have what we have today. That is the whole concept of the flag that people, for some reason, distort and
Every
they say,
day.
oh, it's government. No, it's not government. It's
Mary,
completely.
how many times have you pledged to the flag this week?
I have a
Openly.
flag. Well, this week
you-
I actually took it down because I'm going to put something up because I'm going to get a little pole and put the flag on.
Did you put your hand on your
I had
chest?
a flag here for like a whole year.
Did you put your hand on your chest and grab your teta, right, over your heart, okay, and then pledge to the flag every single day this week?
No, because I'm
Why not?
grateful for the flag.
So
I don't have to do
are
it
you
anymore.
telling me it's possible to be grateful for something and not have to perform the act?
Yes, as an adult, because you can do that. Just like you can pray or choose to not pray, you know.
Well, what if
But as a child,
as an adult you have to pray, you have to show that you appreciate the flag, and if you don't pray to the flag every day, you can get fined.
well,
Would
then
you
that's
agree
where
with
we
that?
go into that. No, I don't, because that's the government forcing adult Americans to do what the government wants them to do.
But the government forcing children to do something, Mary, there are two rules to the
I
universal
don't think it was
code.
forced. It was just part of the programming. Like it's part of like the curriculum, you know, like
Doesn't do the pledge gets detention.
because if it was really forced, then why are kids not pledging anymore? Because it was never really
was
forced
an
to begin with.
it was an insane concept.
But
to
if
be
that's
like,
the
you
case,
have
if your
to do
argument
this.
is accurate, which I don't believe it is, because if that's the case, then why is the main governor of Florida so like nationalistic? If like the governor, which is the leader of
From
Florida,
Florida?
is super like pledge pro America, but yet the actual institutions don't pledge anymore. So it became an evolution thing. But I don't think they forced people to stop. They just stopped. You know,
Because
that
they
literally
shouldn't have to do it.
which I think is a problem that you stop. Because if you stop, then that means when
that's-
you're an adult, then you don't give a
That's
fuck.
just your opinion.
Well, yes, that's what we're doing. We're giving out our
No,
opinions.
I am not talking about the actual pledge. You are standing on the ground that you must do the pledge or you don't show your appreciation to the flag. I am talking about the right. I don't care if it's a flag or if they tell me I have to do this 3 times or if I got to do this or I got to dance or I got to eat Jell-O every morning. I don't care what they tell me the mandate is. I want to be able to say no. That's it. I don't care that
But
it's praying or if it's pledge.
Right.
What?
You don't have that right as a child. You don't have that right.
That's my point, and that is an issue.
But why is that an issue? Why should a child have so much liberty to that extent?
It's not that they should have that much liberty. It's that they are being trained that if they don't do this thing that they may not believe or understand, they will be punished for it, which then indoctrinates them to not think. You cannot create choice if you take away choice. As long as they understand what they are doing.
You always have
and
choice.
Yes, and you get detention for it. You're not born free. It costs a lot of money.
You are free because currency. We just went over that. Currency doesn't really exist. We created it. It's a construct.
Your stance is that as a child, you are not free. You do not have rights. that means you are not free. That is
As
your
a
stance.
as a human, you are born free, but at the end of the day, you
No.
are a child in the beginning, which
So then
an
you are not
offspring of
free.
your parent. You know,
But
you're
that's your
being
stance.
parented.
That's fine. If your stance is, as a child, I'm assuming 18 is when you're no longer a child. When
Yeah,
do
I
you
mean,
get your rights?
in legal terms, yeah,
Okay.
18.
So for 18 years, you are just a vessel for the government's desire.
No, you are a vessel of your, not even a vessel. You are an offspring of your parent.
But all right, but I'm going to school and they're telling me I have to pray to Christ and I have to do the pledge. Am I a vessel for the government or am I a vessel for my parents and what it is I believe would make me a better person?
You are a vessel for your parents, and if your parent is okay
Then
with the
why
government
do
doing
I
that,
have to? Why do I have to pledge and pray to Christ?
because your government, I mean, your government, your parents want
So
you
I'm a
to.
vessel. No, take the parents agree with me in this
Oh, okay.
scenario. The government is telling me I have to pray and do the pledge. My parents are like, you don't have to, and we told them you don't have to, but they say the law is you must. If that is the case, then I am a vessel of the government's training, and I am not being taught to be an individual until I am, according to you, 18 years old. So I'm not allowed any choices at all until I am 19. Right?
Right. Yes. The government is allowed to indoctrinate the shit out of us until we turn 18, and then we realize, oh shit, we've been indoctrinated. It's time to deprogram and become who we actually really want to be.
So you
Yes.
don't believe that you should have a choice before that moment. You believe that we should actually all be programmed. And then if we, not always when we, but if we recognize that we were programmed, everybody should have to be forced to have to fight the programming and change it. And I say forced because they were forced to be programmed in the first place, according to your stance.
Yeah, that's what
And
the
then,
government does, bro.
but I'm not saying that the government, I'm saying it shouldn't. And you're saying it should.
Yeah, in that particular topic, pledging to the country. Yes. Yes, most definitely. Should be mandatory. Yes.
But what if they make other things mandatory that you don't agree with? And if you don't do those things, then you are against the government.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to pledging,
Do you like Jello?
because I don't actually know.
Well, what if the government said you had to eat Jello every morning before work?
That would suck.
But you would do it because you believe in the country.
I
Now, what
mean,
if you were allergic to Jello?
if the government is forcing me, I don't believe in the government. I believe in the country, which is not the same thing. I'm pledging to the country, not the government. The government is forcing kids to pledge, which I'm okay with because you should
You
keep
don't believe in
by
freedom.
your country. I do believe in freedom.
Just when you're 19.
No, you're still free before that.
No, you're not. If you must
can drink water.
If you must
do all
do
those things.
something, you are not free. If you must do something,
I mean,
you are not free.
Under the government, are you ever really 100% free? You know.
Yes, I can leave the country.
Oh, yeah, but you'll be under another government, so
that is okay. I would probably get along with a lot of the Italians.
Probably.
And I would pretty much.
It's still another government, you know.
I could go to Canada.
Always gonna be under a government, but that's another government. That's probably why you want one more government, because then you're like, fuck, no matter where I go, I'm still gonna be under a government. Might as well be just one big ass umbrella.
I could live in the middle of nowhere.
You can.
And I will not be restricted to the laws of the land, because there are areas where there are no laws in America. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know. Pretty crazy.
But my point is, if you live in a government or a country that dictates that you must do something, then you are not, by definition, free.
True. I mean, you're free, but you're not free.
You're not married.
You're free to leave. You're
No,
free.
you wouldn't be free in that situation.
I mean, if you can't leave and
You
it's no longer
couldn't
a
leave
country, it's
Russia
a
at the time.
prison.
You couldn't
And
leave the
it's
Soviet Union at the
and,
time.
I mean, because I mean, that's a communist country. If we can't leave
But
America,
you're
we're no
talking about
longer.
communism.
That's not communist.
It is. If you are forcing
What's wrong
someone
with nationalism? There's something wrong with nationalism. They've made it a communist thing.
being a
Being
nationalist,
nationalist is just giving a shit
listen,
about your own country.
being
Like
a
Germans care
nationalist,
about Germany,
Mary,
Japanese people care about Japanese people. Why can
Mary,
Americans care about Americans? I don't understand.
being a nationalist is not the same as being forced to be a nationalist.
Okay, but if they're telling you you have to pledge to the American flag in the morning because we need to be grateful for being an American, that's a nationalist.
That's how I'll be grateful, is being
mindset.
forced to be
I
grateful.
mean, that's the how else are you gonna do it if you
By having choice. I'm grateful that I have choice.
kids don't understand what people had to go to get to where we are right now. So
Mary,
you have to tell them, hey,
I
we
would go
have
on a
to
limb
do
and
this
say there's a
because
chance you might not understand what they had to go through.
I mean, I don't, but I'm grateful for it. Unlike apparently a lot of
But
Americans.
what are you grateful for? Are you grateful for the Native Americans being forced into schools and turned into Christians, beaten, thrown into acid baths, and have their backs raked just because they didn't pledge to the flag?
Every country has a dark side. Every country has a dark side. So yeah, I'm grateful for the dark side and the light side.
I agree with that statement.
If we're gonna use that logic, then Germans shouldn't be. Then they shouldn't be grateful for Germany because there was a bunch of Nazis there that killed a bunch of Jews. Like
Germans are not. People from Deutschland are not grateful. You know, like they don't even have like an army. Basically,
that's probably why Germany is going down the drains because they're not grateful for being Germans. You know, and that's why Japanese people are
they were forced to kill people.
But that's a past. You have to learn from that.
They were
you have
forced.
To be grateful and learn from that.
Forced.
But that was the past. Because
but Mary, you're talking about making the present being forced to do things.
The present
being a nationalist must be forced on you to pledge to the flag.
Yes, as a child, because you need to learn what we
did they do in
for
Germany? They forced you to hate the Jews.
It's not the same thing.
Oh my God,
telling you
totally
to be grateful for
thing.
America. How are you going to compare?
To do something is
no. I'm proving my point. How are you going to compare me saying that kids should be forced to be nationalists for a certain age and time, because at the end of the day, you are a child, and Jews fucking dying from Nazis because Nazis were nationalists? Like, I'm not telling
the
government,
we're on the same page.
To hate Jews.
Wait. Just so we're on the same page. Because Mary, I deeply in my heart believe we are not talking about the same point. So I'm going to explain to you what I believe you are saying, and then you will tell me if I am right or not. Okay? You're saying that people should have to pledge to the flag.
Not people. Stop saying people. It's children.
Children. All right. Yes. And then you are also saying being forced as a child to pray to the flag and being forced to hate Jews is not the same thing. Are those two positions correct?
Yes. Because Jews is a religion.
I agree with you.
And people.
That pledging to a flag and being forced to hate Jews are definitely not the same thing. However, based on what your positions are, I now know and have been confirmed that we are not talking about the same thing. I am talking about freedom to not be forced to do something. That is it. I don't care what it is. It could be if somebody says I have to do tap dancing in the morning. I don't agree on being forced. If somebody forces my child, I will pull up the gun for hunting and I will hunt them down because they are purposefully going out of their way to infringe on my child's freedom.
Right.
I don't care where I live or who is my leader. The moment they tell me and my children that they have to do things, they are breaking one of the two rules. I am not disagreeing with your decision or choice that people should pledge to the flag. I am talking about taking away people's choice to either do something or not do something.
That's different. Obviously, I don't want anybody to be forced to do anything. But in that particular topic, yes, the flag should be forced on children.
And
Only children, nothing
I
else.
would take up arms, and I'm a pacifist, and I would start a war. I would literally start. I would try to create a militia.
I mean, if that was the case, like they would have done it already. If people really gave a fuck about that,
They did, and that's why you're not forced to do prayer or the pledge anymore, because it is.
That's not why they stopped doing it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't because they wanted to start a war.
No, it's not that they wanted to start a war. They did it because it was not constitutional.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's what they decided in that time.
But it isn't constitutional.
They can easily reverse that, just like they did with Roe v. Wade, which is what you're afraid
No, Roe v. Wade. That's a law.
Yes, what I'm saying. This was a law too.
Freedom of speech is a law.
No, taking away religion from schools was based on a law. That's and that law
it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, that Supreme Court deemed unconstitutional. That can be reversed, just like Roe v. Wade was reversed.
The law can be reversed.
I know,
but the act is still unconstitutional. If I'm told I must only worship Christ, that is not the First Amendment. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
If someone tells me I must pledge to the flag, is that an infringement on the First Amendment or not?
That is definitely an infringement on the First Amendment, because you can burn the flag.
No, that you can't do.
People have done it all the time.
They
burn it and they don't. Yeah, and they don't, and nothing's happened to them. Isn't that freedom of speech, being able to burn your flag?
Well, I
looked that up real quick. I think you can burn the flag.
They recently ruled it that burning the flag is protected against.
Yeah, that's freedom of speech. I'm okay with that, and I'm.
You can only you can burn your own flag to protest, though you may be prohibited from destroying someone else's property. So there you go, because that would infringe on one of the two things.
So you can't burn somebody else's flag, but you can burn your own flag. That's perfectly fine.
Yes, and I agree with that position, though.
Yeah.
If they were like, it's against the law to burn the flag, I would be against that. Anything where you can't do something, I'm usually against it. However, I do believe in consequences. So, like, if you murder somebody that breaks one of the two rules, you should at least be tried at minimum. Should you be murdered for it or killed? That's really a moral debate. That's something I'll leave that up to better people. But as far as like, if I don't want to go to school, I shouldn't have to go to school. You know, like, I believe that should be true as well.
That is a law. Kids have to go to school unless they're homeschooled.
And I disagree with that law but when it comes to taxes, though, did you know that I can actually choose where I want taxes to go? So if I don't want taxes to go to my local high school, I can make my taxes go to like a public school or something like that.
Interesting. Didn't they do a law against that? They did a law against that. McConnell versus McCarthy versus whatever. He wanted to know where his taxes were going, and the federal government was like, "No, sorry, your taxes cannot. We can't tell you where they're going because they're not in your jurisdiction. So sorry, can't control where your taxes are going from." It's in my big law book over there. McCarthy versus United States, I think it's called.
Taxpayers who move between school districts must file a separate return. Oh, that's separate. That's different. School district income tax is based on your residency, not your place of employment. You may also need to file. Oh, that's just the process of doing it.
I don't think you can actually control where your taxes go because there's a law against that.
There are certain states I absolutely know for a fact that you can choose to do a public school or a private school.
I'm talking about income taxes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, not state taxes.
Right, yeah, income taxes. Remember, we don't have Florida. We don't got no state tax here, bruh.
Oh, so you don't even get to choose.
Yeah, we have school choice. We can choose where, that's all we can choose. We can't choose taxes for a school. We can only choose school choice.
School choice.
Even though they didn't have that in my time. They didn't know it was school choice. I was stuck going to South Miami High School. I actually wanted to go to Coral Reef, but it was too far.
Oh, but that's for attending schools. Anyway, very enlightened today, Mary. This was a long.
You said 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's like 2 hours.
Good to us. I'll be honest. I would have cut it short, but I was intrigued. You know, I really wanted to have a dialogue with you about a majority of the things you deeply believe, and really.
Beliefs can change. That's what I love about belief.
Yeah, I mean, mine definitely didn't during this conversation. You know, because
yes. Oh my God. Oh wait, we'll talk about that on the next one.
I bet we will. Anyway, the next time Mary's on, we are definitely doing a nudist episode.
Oh, okay.
I will not be wearing a shirt, and she will not be wearing pants. And
it's not like you can see.
That's what I'm saying.
For all you know, I could not be wearing pants right now.
Well, I know you're wearing either teal or pink panties right now. That's the only way it could go right now. How close am I?
It's super off. Nude color.
I'm gonna need proof. Don't worry, Mary and I are cousins. It's not weird. It's not romantic.
It's not part of the love construct.
Yeah. She's gonna have a choice. I will not force her to do something.
I'm not a child, so I have choice.
You're as tall as a child.
I am as tall as a child.
I was taller than you when I was born. Instantly, with a full intellect, clothes, and a religion. It was.
Dude, I literally had the size of a premature baby, but I was not premature.
Really? You came out?
Yeah, it was so small.
Well, because your butt is so big, did you get stuck coming out? Were they like, what is going on? She has like 2 tumors in it. Oh, it's just
my butt didn't grow until like I was like 9 or 10.
Were you concerned about it? Were you like, where's my, you know, when am I gonna hit puberty? I need this and that.
No, I hit puberty really early. I wish I would have hit puberty later.
Oh man. When I hit puberty
late, lucky them.
I hit mine in my 30s. My boobs grew.
You see, when but that's common. Guys hit puberty late. That's common.
Yeah. 30 years old when my boobs start developing, or as I call them, boobs.
I mean, you can cut them off now, so it's okay.
I could not. They are pecs. I need them to do certain movements. Robot. More than meets the eyes. Anyway. All right. Mary Truths. How do they find you if they want to find you? Or if you want them to find you? That is.
Yeah. I always want people to find me. Attention is always loved, even the hateful attention.
Yeah.
So it's
this information at Mary Truths.
Mary_Truths with an S. And if you care about your mind, body connection, and you care about health and all that jazz, go to MB Elevate.
That's right. She does yoga videos. What's the one you do with the bunny rabbit? It's called the rabbit. What is it? It's like right, and you're just doing exercises. Breathing increases. You got to get that heart going.
Are we talking about cardio? What are we talking about?
I mean, it does create cardio. It's isometric. Anyway. All right, everybody. This is from Thomas J. Bellezza. You're listening to From the Hat. We are talking by choice, chosen by random. However, after this episode, no one will be talking by choice. You are being forced to talk at the government's.
If you're a child.
If you're a child, you are not allowed to talk in the presence of adults. We will not develop your ability to define choice. Your choice will be my choice. That's how it'll be. All right, everyone. By the way, I do love Mary. We are friends. This was. It may have felt heated, but I assure you, we respect each other.
Yes.
And she's my
2 fire signs.
What?
Yeah. 2 fire signs. That's what happens.
We're 2 fire signs. You know, we're 2 ships passing in the night. We're soulmates that never got a chance to be together because she had to go fall in love with someone. But whatever. Anyway. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you next. Bye.